Welcome, Groovy.
And we're live.
So do you put video out too live, Jerry?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right, so keep my pants on.
Keep your
How's
pants
it
on.
going? How's it going, friends to Adam?
Awesome, Mr. Failed.
Everybody, welcome
Or wait,
to
it's
the 30th
Dale. Who's
anniversary show of the Hive. Cheers.
30 whole episodes.
30 whole. That's we
It's
started.
a long time.
We started in June.
We're almost ready for a midlife crisis, you know.
Well, someone's got to have a Saturn return pretty soon, right?
Dude, I think mine is actually.
There
if
you
not,
go.
Yeah.
Are you 28?
Yeah, dude, I'm turning 29.
Oh yeah, totally. Saturn's a Capricorn right now.
I'm a Capricorn, bro.
Huh?
I'm a Capricorn.
That's like a double, triple witching hour for you, right?
Dude, I have the worst. I mean, right now I'm in a good spot, but I have the worst shit going on in my life right now, dude.
All right, who's making all the noise? Is that Suzanne?
Oh.
Not me.
Okay.
We started the Hive during my midlife crisis.
Yes, we did.
It's been
So now
a ride.
it's been a fun time.
Yes,
I think I'm pretty level now because of you guys.
What the fuck?
That's all I gotta say. All y'all are awesome,
So who needs strength? We just need friends.
especially Suzanne. Suzanne's awesome.
Look behind me in my camera. Look behind me. There's something moving behind me.
Oh, thanks. Failed. What?
Do
Somebody's
clowns with knives
moving
count?
Do you see that?
behind you?
Do you see that behind me? That moving
God
thing?
damn it! I can't fucking hear.
Is that a candle, Jerry? Do you have a candle burning?
Just stop.
Wait, is somebody there?
What? No, there's nobody there. It's my
Did
guitar.
Z leave?
No. Oh, my guitar's wiggling. Okay, that was freaking me out.
How the fuck is your guitar wiggling?
Because it's on a precarious placement.
Oh,
It's
He's
precarious.
resonating with the musical pattern of the
Well,
guitar.
I'm on a wood floor, and when I move back, it's wiggling, and I could see it behind me moving. I look back, and there's nothing there. Freaking me out. All right.
hi,
Oh.
Jer.
Hi, how are you?
I haven't talked to you in a long time.
I know, I missed you. Hello, Vaughn.
What the hell, man? You're my future ex-husband.
It's not like I haven't been around.
God.
You can't have Jerry because I have dreams of being with Jerry.
Jerry has
No.
dreams.
Jerry
my
has
Of
wow. You're all
you.
screwed.
I
Which
what?
is hilarious.
You have wow.
I think I'll have to go potty.
Am I too loud?
No, not at all.
You can be an ethical slut, Jerry. It's
An
okay.
ethical slut.
No, I was laughing because Killendall was just saying he has dreams about Jerry, and Jerry had a dream about Kill like a week ago,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and he never
Oh, yeah.
has dreams about anybody.
Oh yes, I do. I just don't tell you.
Well, okay, you don't.
We were
tell me.
looting purple gear.
You don't want to
Epic.
hear about my dreams being knee deep in pussy and stuff like that.
Okay, well, yeah, we don't want to hear about that, but
I mean, with our
people-
friends. I'm kidding.
remember, like like a year ago, we
Dude.
wanted to try to dream about each other and like
wasn't-
bring
it was like 2
everybody
months
into our
ago.
dreams. Remember that?
It was like 2 months ago.
A year. 2
No, it
months
was
ago.
fucking a year.
Yes,
Dude.
I know. And you tell me
You
that
don't.
I show up in your dreams all the time, but I don't remember.
You're always on my mind. What are you talking about?
But I don't remember those. Like we're talking, and then we talk later. I remember one time you said that you had a dream, and I was in it, and you told me something, and the next day I said something
We were
similar.
laughing our asses off. We were so happy. Remember that?
Yes.
Remember that I told you that.
Yes.
Not that you were.
I thought there was some
I said it in the
correlation.
Hive, and I told you personally. We were fucking laughing our asses off, and that was such a great dream. And
I think
Steve
we were
woke
laughing
me
at
up,
the
and I was
blue
so
avians.
mad.
We were laughing at the blue avians, right?
I don't know what. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't sound normal right now because Suzanne isn't blasting the headphones.
I know, it's
It's
nice.
kind of weird.
We can actually have a conversation.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't feel normal.
What's going on?
So the topic tonight was like, came up, it's like, I like, no.
Shut up.
James and I were talking. No, it's how my kids talk. It's annoying as fuck. But
Well, yeah, me too. but that's
hashtag
what-
annoying AF.
Oh my god. Oh.
I don't say like all the time. I don't
Anyway.
constantly say like.
No, I know, but like 5 times in a sentence is overused. Anyway, James and I were talking about like we're at information shutdown now because nothing is
overload.
It's not even overload. It's hello Modwiz, how you doing? You just showed up in the chat. You should have an invite in your mailbox, dude.
Carl, shut the fuck up.
If you want, it's up to you. Anyway, it's just like it's like nothing's even interesting anymore. And
No, there isn't.
We've turned to like our hobbies, back to our hobbies, which is awesome.
I know.
And so that that was kind of the thing. It's like our minds have turned inward, as it were.
Yeah, like I find like after the Vegas shooting, I completely shut down from any conspiracy or news or anything, and I'm just concentrating on other things, clearing my mind, as it were, clearing my palate, because I've realized that focusing on the negative all the time just draws you down. So
yeah, and actually it was
true,
Vegas
yeah.
that really made this change, especially my perception and my view of it, because it's probably not a standard view, but I'm looking at things a little differently now as to how what that was, what it represented, how it started, like all that stuff. It doesn't matter who or what did it. I mean, it does, but it doesn't really, because it happened.
Yeah, what impact on our
What
lives
can we do?
does it have?
I don't know. I don't have a solution. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, what impact on our lives?
Well, if it's being
Yeah.
done for magical reasons, or having
always being
symbolism
done for
put in to change world events, then your involvement by your collective consciousness just observing it would make you fully involved. I don't know if
Not
that makes
fully.
Exactly.
That's
So
not
I-
necessarily
I
true.
refuse to watch the Goddard Tunnel opening.
You can
Everybody
observe
put
it and
that
not
crap
give it
out there,
focus.
and I did not want to watch
That's
it.
not true, Jerry.
Yeah, it
I
is
don't
true.
think that's true.
That is harder. It is harder.
You're giving it some energy when you give it any kind of attention.
That's right. Where
Okay,
attention goes, energy flows.
I don't think the Vegas thing was necessarily a ritual of any kind. I think it manifested as a ritual. It came
Well,
up
that's
that way.
interesting, and I'm not opposed to that idea.
I don't think any of the esoteric shit that we found, that we looked at, that we examined, was planned.
Well, that's life is a projection of yourself, Jerry.
Jerry, if it wasn't planned for Vegas, then it's probably not planned for any of it.
Exactly. So it's kind of my thinking now that that's the. I said this last week too. That's like the energy that's created with those types of events, and those energies that are created at those times manifest in strange ways, and that's the example. Those occult symbols that we find, those things that we relate back to rituals that we think people do or have done in the past, etc. We make those linkages.
Except,
or it could be both.
It could be both, right?
Archetypal things manifest, but if you start to harness that symbolism, that you might, be able to direct the power.
Right.
So.
And look at, this one was rife with 10s, 91s and 10s, right? As you found out, Aaron. I don't
10s and 8s.
91s
91
are still
was
going on.
91 was big too. And 9/11 for that matter.
91s are still going on though.
Are they?
But 9 and 91 is 9 and 1. 9 and 1 is 10. This was 10 coded to the hilt.
Right. Well, there was
You're right,
91s
Aaron, but
everywhere
it's still
too.
going on.
Okay. Well, my point is that I forgot now. That's whatever archetype that represents, whatever angel or angle or fucking frequency from Jupiter, whatever. You know what I mean? It's strong. So maybe whatever they did anchored it. That's one way to look at it too.
I've considered that. After speaking with Zach Hubbard a couple of times on podcast and exploring because I've been aware of gematria, but I've never been one of those people who really sunk deep into it. And then speaking with Zach Hubbard a couple of times, and then really spending my time as I do preparing for each show and then engaged in the show. When you really try to consider the unfucking fathomable coincidences with all the numbers, the names, the dates, the places. And my question to Zach on more than one occasion was this: do you really think that it's a group of people planning this shit? Do you think people are capable of planning so far ahead with such amazing detail? Obscure detail, the kind of detail that all of us, YouTubers dig out of the fucking muck hole that nobody else is paying attention to.
I don't know. MK Ultra and MK Often went on forever, and we only found out through a Freedom of Information request, and we only know of like the files that weren't destroyed. So that went on for like 40 years.
What files don't we know about?
Vegas was a Gladio operation.
Yeah, that's different. That's different stuff though. Those operations with this. This is more. I don't think humans are capable of it. I just listened to a podcast with a higher side chat.
Yes, Michael Joseph.
On that. No, the other one. The one that they're talking about, the lead singer of the Cocteau Twins and all that stuff. And that is mind-blowing coincidences and synchronicities and all this stuff tied together and wrapped together. And it can't,
Amy
you could never plan it. No, Elizabeth.
But I think here's the idea, Graham. Like, let's say you create an event and you start putting all of these occult symbolisms and numbers, and you work it in, and you think about the story and build it around an archetype. You put power into it. So I think the idea is that you try to manifest more of that, so you will get a stronger manifestation of those things where it looks like, well, how the fuck could this happen? Well, maybe it's because you're focusing the energy on that by looking at the charts to find out the time, to find out the location, to find out the astrology, to find out the symbolism to use, and then that kind of focuses, and then you get a string of quote unquote synchronicities all around a number.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Dude, if you take what you just said and then kind of balance the idea across of thinking whether or not this really even happened, whether or not it happened in reality or was some kind of
it was a hybrid or one of those.
Psyopic plan or whatever. Psyopic. What is psyopic? Thank you. I missed the word.
I don't know. I'm making one up. I don't know.
What is this? And all this numerology seems so kind of barometric to me, almost like it's just telling us of like a presence of some kind of, you know what I mean? It's so impossible to pin it down, and we're supposing it's faked. But then it also
impossible to pin it down. It's in the records. It's in history. It's
impossible to pin it down from where we are, for real. I mean,
from where we are, right? So if we can actually, if we can believe what is on the internet, as far as what historical documents are on the internet, then gematria is totally real.
And it is real.
There's something very real about it.
It's very real. And
it's real.
People
it's just
are using it.
Is like whether or not.
Well, let's not forget
it's like
that gematria and numerology are not the same.
No, they're not the same. But
the elites who run this place, they like to play with their.
But it's using like 10.
Right. See, this isn't. Oh, I want to get into that too. So there's two more things I want to talk about.
Let me just say that who was it? David Rockefeller that said that what was it that people, it was something about
Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
no,
Rahm
it was
Emanuel.
something about astrology, that only billionaires pay attention to astrology, like not regular people.
Yeah, I remember something about that.
If you look at science where it's going, there's a lot of as above, so below. I know I've talked to you about this, Jerry, before, but they'll do macro experiments to describe the micro. And one of the classic ones is using silicon oil, where they can bounce a droplet of silicon oil on itself and send it through the slits. And the waves that you see propagating on the surface of the silicon oil are very reflective of the waves that we see. So you see how a particle can behave as both a particle and a wave.
Is
at least
this the
in that
double
scenario.
slit experiment?
It's the double slit experiment, but done on a large
macro
scale.
experiment to show it in full.
Yeah, it's large. It's essentially a large pool with.
I got you.
What is that called again? What's a good way to search that?
Macro.
Google silicon oil double slit experiment macro. That would probably be enough for a couple variations of that.
So
but the idea
what about
would be
it?
that things would scale up, and it's the same thing. You can look at small things, how they represent, and how the same way that you would take a wave pool, right? If you want to see how the Titanic would sink or something else, you could create a small ship, you can create a wave pool, and it's going to act the same way small that it's going to act large. So if I'm looking at how things act on the micro scale and how things act with us, and we're starting to see the science of where consciousness could have a quantum level, why the fuck couldn't you maybe divinate something from the stars, from the heavens, some order, where you're not necessarily looking at that it's that everything is connected and everything has patterns. And so if you can figure out a way to associate patterns, you can do that with anything, whether it's, dropping tea leaves, whether it's looking at the stars, whether it's reading tarot cards.
Right. That's basically magic. That's what magic is,
Mm-hmm.
So, no,
I'm glad you phrased it that way. You sort of brought it back full circle, and something I wanted to share with you guys. I think I missed last week, but 2 weeks ago, Jerry was asking everybody to, if they had like a synchronicity, a major synchronicity that happened to them within that week. Well, I had one happen to me yesterday, and it was pretty fucking profound. Jerry, and some of you, Susan, and some of you guys might know, my show is Conspiracy or Not, and I've been working with Ian, who is in Canada, Pacific Northwest, and Vancouver Island, working with this guy for 1.5 years to do this show. Well, he just got a job, and he had to, he's going to have to step back. Now, a couple of months ago, about 2 months ago, we were contacted by this guy, maybe 3 months ago, this guy, Bart. His channel is Bart, the Bartamon. He was on with you, Jerry, once or twice, right? He was on with you last week.
I'm surprised he's not here right now.
He's probably looking for a way to get in.
He's got the Slack link.
Okay. All right. Well, he knows I'm over here. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Bart's really interesting. We've had him on a few times. He's really enthusiastic and interesting, and happy to be hooked up with us. And then, so here's all right, I'll tell you the synchronicity. I'll try to be short. The other day, I'm chatting on Skype with Amy, and we were discussing who's going to host this week's show. And I said, I will, unless Ian has something to say.
Mm-hmm. So I quit. He says, I quit.
No, here's the thing. Ian rarely engages us in Skype.
Mm-hmm.
Ian's the kind of guy who almost will never reply to you in a comment thread. He's just not that kind. He's just one of those people. He's very aloof that way.
I've noticed that about Ian.
He's a great guy.
Because he's a Canadian?
No, yeah.
Hey,
I agree.
We'll have to ask Failed when he's done. When you're done. Go ahead.
So Amy was like, who's going to host? And I said, I will, unless Ian has something to say. And as soon as I typed it, I thought to myself, Ian isn't going to have anything to say because he almost never shows up in Skype. And then I immediately thought, we rarely hear from the guy. We haven't heard from him a lot lately. And then I thought, what if we lose Ian? And then I thought, holy shit, Bart is so enthusiastic. He's such an interesting guy. And he just loves blah, blah. And then I thought, okay, if we lose Ian, probably we'll offer Bart, if he wants it, to be co-host. Okay. Well, I went to bed early that night, lo and behold, an hour or two after I got off of Skype, Ian shows up and he says, I got a new job. Time is going to conflict. And oh, by the way, my heart hasn't really been in it lately. And then Amy Skypes me privately on Skype. And she says, do we want to offer, I don't know, Bart? Okay, so all that went down.
I wouldn't call that synchronistic. I'd say you're fucking psychic.
But it was a precog. It was absolutely a precog.
Yeah, it definitely was.
But here it gets worse. It gets better.
Let's
check this out.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. It gets better. That night I go to bed. So this is before Amy and I said, okay, so Amy, and then I had the thought, replace Bart, and then I go to bed. So before I wake up and Amy and I discuss replacing Ian with Bart, before that happens, I go to bed and I have a dream. And very, very vividly, very loudly and clearly, somebody said to me in my dream, there's going to be an event in Livermore.
California.
I used to live in Livermore.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hello.
And I'm thinking Livermore, and I wake up and I'm going, I need to remember this, and so I did. And I'm thinking Livermore. I know Liverpool. Where? And I'm going. I'm searching. Where's fucking Livermore? My friend from UK, Dominic. Him and I Skype that very next morning. The same morning, Amy and I decide to invite Bart. So I'm talking with Dominic from the UK, and I'm like, Dom, I know there's Liverpool. Is there a Livermore? And he's like, no. And so him and I are chatting about some other shit, and then it dawned on me. Livermore Labs.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory.
That's right.
When was this dream?
The dream
Explore the
was
science of sleep with
2 nights
Sleep
ago.
World. Back pain can prevent you from.
What happened at Livermore Labs?
There was a DUI incident. Some people-
nothing that I know of yet, but let me just finish because I'm really not done. I'm really not done. I'm serious. So I have this dream, this event in Livermore, and I'm like, okay, Livermore Labs, blah, blah, blah. And I figured it out with Dominic. And then Amy and I have the conversation to invite Bart. And then later in the day, Bart comes online and we Skype call and we invite him as face-to-face as we could, right? Not just text. So I'm talking to, and he's cool and blah, blah, blah. And we're about to hang up. And I tell them, I said, oh, I got to tell you my dream. I had a precog about Bart and also Livermore Labs. And Bart tells me I'm going to a Christmas event with my daughter. And at that event is a friend of mine who works at Lawrence Livermore Laboratory.
Okay.
Where's Bart in this?
He's in California. He lives in California.
He lives in California. Okay.
What kind of event? I'm still back that
They have
way.
all kinds of
It was a
events.
holiday event. It was just like a
Oh.
Christmas party.
Oh, I thought you meant like an
Concerts and
outbreak
stuff.
of a plague or something.
No.
Oh, fuck.
Have
I
you
was
followed
all
up
excited.
afterwards?
Damn it.
No, there's lots of concerts, and Steve went to one over at Livermore
Yeah.
because he's built a lot of stuff around Livermore Labs.
Because
Have you talked to your friend though to see if he's followed up with them? With that, I'd be
What's that?
interested to see if that conversation came of anything.
With Bart?
Yeah, I mean, if you have all that precog leading up to Livermore
He
Labs,
was on the show
Yeah.
tonight.
When
He
is
was your
Bart
tonight,
going?
right?
He
Oh, he
was on the show tonight. He was the first
Yeah.
tonight was first time for him as
You think
actual
he should like
co-host and not
record an
guest.
interview?
And I'll be goddamn if that conversation didn't even come up.
Isn't that how it always is?
Well, that's good. That's great. This is all fresh news then.
Exactly.
That's funny.
You
You
should
did
try
make
it.
it.
I'm at he did say that he was going to talk to his friend and try to be, a little bit incognito about his questioning. He wanted to probe his friend about what they're doing over there, and I don't want to get anybody fired and shit. So he was going to be, tactful about that. I imagine if anything significant, Bart would have brought it up, or
I don't know that much is
maybe
going on at Livermore Lab.
I don't know.
But there wasn't.
They got their fingers. Hey, Livermore Labs has their fingers in a lot of pies,
They
man.
have their fingers
Security,
in a lot of
biology, technology.
Okay.
The accident you'd be interested in, you're not going to hear about.
Sandia Labs in New Mexico.
Crazy shit
That's
goes on
what
there.
we're gonna watch.
That's where my dad worked.
Those fuckers have their shit.
Yeah, the cool accidents end up getting discovered by, hey, what's all this radiation coming out of Russia?
Or methane coming out of...
There's a bunch of them, man. These labs have like 3,000, 5,000 scientists in there. I mean, it's unbelievable. And they're all funded by they're all funded by the Department of Energy.
Right, the DOE.
Actually, the DOE.
I would argue that those are some of the underground bases.
Obviously, yes. I've heard rumors.
So, wait, before I forget, in Livermore 2 days ago, there was a drunk driver who plowed into a bunch of people.
That's not surprising.
Livermore, California. It's an event in Livermore on the same day.
That happened yesterday?
On 23rd, yeah.
That would be the day after my dream.
Yeah. I wonder who, if anybody passed away that was of significance, you know?
Wow, thanks for that, Jerry.
I doubt it.
16-year-old girl was partially ejected from the car. Pronounced dead.
Partially ejected. Oof.
And pronounced dead.
The driver, a 26-year-old woman, was arrested for driving for a DUI. 5 people
and of course
were in
she
the
survived.
Because you're all loosey-goosey when you're drunk. It doesn't have
Not
names.
when the car's on top of you.
Sucks being a bottom. It doesn't have. All it has is the officer's name. It doesn't have.
Why are we talking about this terrible news? Come on.
Because it's an event in Livermore.
Because it might be tied to my dream.
Spider-Man, get in here. I see you in there.
Aaron, you
yes, Susan.
Please
have it might be something in the future. I don't necessarily think it has anything to do.
That was the sense that I got.
Now.
Yeah, that was the sense that I got. It was going to be something major,
I think it has
and it was going to be like a false flag event. But it is weird that I find out now from Jerry that just yesterday, which really was the day after my dream, that a drunk driver plowed into a crowd of people. That's significant. That's an event.
Lawrence Livermore Labs has this huge telescope. And you know how
what do you
they
think?
keep coming out with, oh, we found all these planets, we found this, and we found that, and then there's, there was some friggin' space, looked like a goddamn huge long rock that supposedly was flying through space. So
the cigar-shaped red rock of.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
The giant dick, the cock that was going to fuck us but missed. Yeah.
The giant dick.
It drove Secure Team 10 crazy, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made 2 videos about it.
Oh fuck! I only saw one.
I only saw one.
What do you
too,
think the
and I only
spiritual
saw half of it
significance
because I
of
can't
drunk
take it.
driving is?
It's a bullet.
The what is?
It's a bullet through the head, dude.
Spiritual significance of what?
Of a drunk driver.
Oh.
No, the spiritual. Okay, yeah, we could go there, but let's not go there for now. I think you may have had a precognition of what may be to come.
I was in total precog mode 2 nights ago.
So let's watch.
I mean, like creepy, wild.
Next week.
Well, 2 nights ago was the 22nd. That was 11/22. That's a 33, right? The moon was.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I got to look up the moon.
God, the moon was
something to put in.
Here in California.
It was a waxing crescent right now.
Something to think about
an
too.
Hour and a half from Livermore.
Yeah, Adam.
I was just telling Jerry about this the other night that I've noticed this, especially with podcasts, specifically which I'll have ideas for health or motivation or something to do. And then I'll notice 2 or 3 weeks later that somebody specifically mentions it in something that I'm listening to. And so I wonder if it's not the fact that I've heard it in the future. So I get the idea or the inkling or the thought to do something without any real direction, just kind of like that inspiration out of nowhere, that little muse of creation for something. And so I've been kind of identifying this. And so I'm trying to work out now. I'm trying to try to notate when I get these ideas to see if I can actually see how long it takes to see if it's actually like a 2.5 week precog type event. So when I think about things like you were talking about of like maybe foreseeing a future event, it could also be that, maybe Jerry telling you of this event now having the impact that it did in the wow, but that's enough for you to have the inclination in the past.
Things live in the ether, ideas, thoughts.
That just
whatever.
makes the ether the collective consciousness, doesn't it?
The ether is the collective consciousness, yes.
With 5G
so
microwave shooting through it now. Yay.
The ether is
whoever's
not
tapping into it will get what's going on. And they might, like Nish, she, oh my God, we have a whole huge thing about something that happened like 10 years before. And she was telling me about this, and I was like, did you know that this movie came, like she described a dream she had, and it was exactly a movie.
I've done that.
It happened like 10 years earlier.
I came up with the idea for that
dream.
I came up with that book idea and told you about it, and then the movie review trailer came out.
Yes.
The miniaturizing one.
Yeah.
That made me
look
think
at science throughout history. You have the Wright brothers at the same time developing flight as somebody does in France. It happens with Darwin. It happens with so many other things. So, I mean, we know in the ages past before the internet that you have, ideas springing from different areas coming forth at the same time. So, yeah, man,
and I think it depends on the power of the person.
Or how much energy is behind that, the storing of that in the cloud.
Is that or is that the idea getting infused into you by something else?
Yeah, exactly. Who has the best connection? Who's seeing the clearest picture of the core inspiration?
Right.
Right. That goes with everybody.
Go ahead, Jerry.
That just goes with the thought of that everything exists, and you just have to tune into it.
That's that ties directly with what I was going to ask. Everybody on the panel, has everybody on the panel noticed an increase in frequency of precog or dream or like vivid dreams, this kind of phenomenon? And by the way, Bart, who just joined us, I just got done telling these guys the story of the precog that I had about you joining our show,
which he didn't bring up on your show.
And then the Livermore thing. Tell us, who did you meet? You went to what was it you were going to go to? You party or a Christmas party or something, and there was a friend of yours who worked.
No, Thanksgiving, right? So it's on Thanksgiving morning that you send me an email, and I'm rallying the family to head off to.
Oh, right. I was like, yeah, we need to talk real quick.
Yeah, our pre-designated, already established plan. And what happens is, the night before, Ian drops a comment that, his heart's not in it. He's going to step away from the show. And I've been there, present, engaged in the show that you're doing. And I had done 2 shows, was slated for a 3rd, and the night before, you say you thought about, okay, well, Ian's stepping away. Well, we could use a 3rd person. Who's the logical choice? Well, Bart. He's sort of shown up out of nowhere, and there he is.
To me that if we might lose him, he's hardly around, hardly engaged, et cetera, et cetera. And so the thought occurred to me, we might, if we lose him, that I'll be happy to ask Bart. And then the very next morning, I see the message from Ian, and then Amy says, look, do we want to offer Bart? And so it was like, fuck, I just had that exact thought last night, had no knowledge that this was going to happen. And at that same time, at that night, I had the dream about I get a message, an event in Livermore.
And then Livermore, and specifically Lawrence Livermore Labs, right?
And then we talked to you, and I say I discovered Livermore Labs, remembered Livermore Labs, and you said, "What? You're going to go to what?"
Thanksgiving party. So I let you tell your story, and I say, and you're talking about your buddy Dom, and you're talking about Liverpool.
I said, "Oh yeah, the dream, Liverpool."
But it's not that. I had a dream. it was specifically about Livermore and Lawrence Livermore Labs, and it's on the day that you're inviting me to be the new co-host, and and I'm sitting there,
and in that conversation, you tell me you're going to this party,
and I say, guess where I'm going for Thanksgiving dinner? To Livermore, and guess where the guy works at? Lawrence Livermore Labs. So
I don't know. Yeah, it's just.
I think this thing happens more often than we actually realize. As soon as we're in touch with the people who surround us or who we draw into us,
our fields combine.
Until we're in touch with what everyone's doing, I think that it happens and we don't realize it. And then as soon as we start talking, like, hey, where are you going? Oh, I'm going here.
If you don't write down your dreams, you don't remember them. And it's the same thing with so many other things. You don't see the patterns until you start really paying attention or notating them. It seems like it's like when somebody has a profound UFO experience and it's not profound. Harrison Ford has, I think it's Harrison Ford. Shit, who is it? I'll have to look it up. There's a really famous actor who had an experience with a UFO. And it was Kurt Russell. And he didn't realize that the Phoenix Lights, one of the major reports from one of the reports from a pilot given of the event was him. And he was watching an event, talking about the past of the Phoenix Lights and all the things it had done, and detailing one of the reports given to the FAA by an unnamed pilot. And he's like, wow, that's amazing. Holy shit, that's me.
And then he went and looked at his pilot records.
Yeah, and it's like,
he was the pilot.
So yeah, these profound experiences, the same thing with synchronicities and dreams. They're you for some reason, the way that we're built, we don't see the significance until we notate it, point it out, or put it on in some sort of writing that's not in our brain.
I met Kurt Russell once.
He's such a badass.
He was filming Backdraft, the movie Backdraft, in Chicago, and a friend of mine worked in these things called BattleTech centers, and there used to be a tabletop war game, a sci-fi war game called BattleTech.
Fuck yeah, my friends used to play that all the time.
Yeah. So
dude, it was based on a TV show too, I think.
No. TV show, no. Well, I mean,
no, the video game, Sega. Wasn't there BattleTech?
No, FASA was the company that made BattleTech. Anyway, they computerized it and they made it into these network pods, and there were 4 and 4 teams, and you could play each other. There's still a couple around. I don't know where they are, but anyway, my best friend was the manager of that place. It was at North Pier in Chicago. And after hours, we could play all night long for free. So we hung out there on Saturday nights. And Kurt Russell was in town filming, and he came in and played with us for like 2 or 3 hours. Maybe,
cool.
Maybe a little less, but it was very cool. That's my story.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about the video game Mech Warriors.
Was this before or after Captain Ron?
Captain Ron was 87. I love Captain Ron. Captain Ron is one of my top 25.
Not a bad movie.
Oh, dude, it's easily one of the top 100 movies of all time.
Totally, fucking great movie.
Easily one of the top 100,000 movies of all time.
Oh, Kurt Russell is in like 5 of the top movies of all time. The thing. I mean, he's a fucking.
Yes,
it's a good movie.
We just talked about that last week because nobody remembered it. Nobody saw it.
You didn't remember it, and then we all thought about it.
Hey, James, welcome.
Oh, James. I was like, where the fuck? I thought I recognized that voice.
We're just a couple people shy of our D&D group.
I was just gonna say, dude, what the fuck's going on here? Wrong room, dude. Wow. Oh man, what's up, guys?
Hey.
And mom.
Well, James, you missed an amazing story, but I'm not going to tell it a third time. You're going to have to go back and listen.
I will listen to the intro. I had some just man.
Are you okay? I told the most amazing
I thought
story.
Oh wait, sorry. Go ahead.
I had a massive fucking day. I told that story twice already. You're going to have to go back and check it out.
I will definitely check it out. No, I was just saying I had kid stuff. Dude. My nephew standing over within an hour, like they're downstairs, just WrestleMania. You know, like he blasts my son. He goes flying off some chair or some shit, and he falls down on his arm. And he's like, and my youngest son comes upstairs. He's like, Dad, Grady's laying on the ground, can't move his arm. I'm like, fuck. So all is well.
Okay?
All is well. Yeah.
Duct tape and a stick.
Yeah, man. I took
wife's a nurse.
I took a belt and made it into like a sling. He just like sprained like from like your elbow like area right there.
Yeah.
Like, cause he put his arm out when he hit the ground or something. He nailed it right there. I was like,
That'll
well,
teach
dude,
you
if
how to
it's
fall,
broke,
right?
if it's broke, you'd be crying like a bitch, you know, like
No, if it's broke in the morning, it'll look like a grapefruit, and you'll
yeah, that too. It's
dude,
possible.
Don't ever tell somebody if they break something they'll know, because I had a motorcycle accident in which
and you didn't know,
the paramedics told me if you broke it, you'd know. I rode my bike home. I went back to work. I continued lifting and filling propane tanks filling a 15-pound tank with 20 pounds of gas, walking it around.
Wow!
And not until the next morning, I woke up and I had broken all 3 bones, 2 complete breaks, 1 fracture, and all the ligaments torn.
I might have to take him tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I was going to say something like that, Adam.
Yeah.
If it looks like a grapefruit, take him. If not,
swollen.
Yeah, like right now it looks legit. It looks normal.
Yeah.
So I gave him an ice pack.
Swollen.
Yeah.
James, just cast a Cure Light Wounds.
What's up, dude? Yeah, no shit. I'll piss on it.
There you go.
That might be a moderate wound. That might be
that would be the modern day fixer.
Yeah. Now just get yourself a jellyfish and put it right on there.
We'll shock it and treat it all in the same shot, dude.
Just shock it back into health.
That's great. I'll do it.
Last night at my in-laws, I just watched Bear Grylls, like with what's his face? Ed, whatever his name is. And Bear is peeing because they cut their fingers like going down a rock, and he's peeing on his hand. I don't know how old the episode is. Ed Helms. That's what it is.
Oh, Ed Helms.
That sounds like our D&D. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I've never heard of peeing as antiseptic though.
And I'm like, oh my god, this is totally their D&D.
Is that where James got it from?
Okay, you know where I got it from? I got it from the idea of the jellyfish thing.
Yeah,
and I've always heard of that. But then, what it is if you watch the first Dan Carlin, Harmon or Dan Harmon, the Harmon Quest, dude, the first episode, the little dude that's the halfling, he's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna jump up on this bookcase and piss all over everything. So that's where I got it from.
He was gonna piss on everything.
Exactly. So now that's what I'm ripping off. Yeah, I'm ripping it off of him.
They do carry bottles of ammonia at all the lifeguard towers, so they can spray like Man of War stings.
Yeah,
just to neutralize.
Now, someone said last week that was bullshit. It doesn't work.
I don't know. When I was a teen, they used to carry it. There was a few
piss or ammonia.
They'd have mineral spirits. They'd have ammonia.
Maybe people don't have enough ammonia to make it work.
Is that
I think it does.
Is that not true? Is that not true? Like whenever I find trouble, I pee on it.
Man, that's that's my gig, dude. No doubt.
My guess,
you might want to stop
not that it necessarily does anything. It's probably
it hasn't worked yet. I don't know.
It's probably for pain relief, because the way that those things work, it's essentially a seed that injects into your skin that continues to release poison. So
the jellyfish thing.
Yeah. Jellyfish, Man of War. Yeah.
It's just like a bee sting.
Sea fans, yeah. It's a little different. If you actually look up online, there's thousands of these little. They look like a seed, and they're behind this coil, and they're triggered on a nerve, and they spring out with a huge amount of pressure, and they actually fly through and inject themselves into your skin, and they continue.
Fucking nanobots, man.
Yeah,
but the whole thing is about peeing on something is that your pee is sterile.
You know what we could do?
Even though it's drawing out all of your toxins.
I wanted to say it was
so you know, when you pee on something, you own it.
Yes. What I wanted
to say
about
sterile.
Yes.
It is sterile.
That includes people at the beach.
And maybe there's something in pee that clings to those cells and pulls them out. The thing about the bees is when a bee stings you, it rips out its whole venom sac, which continues to pump. That's what I meant. once you get stung, the barbs keep it in, and then it pumps venom into you until you pull it out.
Oddly sexual, Jerry.
I drink my own urine,
Yes.
not because it's good for me, but it's sterile and I like the flavor.
Remember that whole pee drinking? Like, remember that?
Yes.
The dude that drank his own. Oh my God!
Dead
This
now.
is coming back around again. He's dead.
Dead Tony.
Dead Tony. No, he didn't.
No, it's not Dead Tony.
He would
It's
stay
this
drunk
other dude.
forever if he drank his own pee. One time he puked. One time, Dead Tony puked in our sink and it ate through. Oh, he poured like sulfuric acid in there, so it was all clogged. It ate through our pipes.
That's crazy, dude. That's
Oh
crazy.
my God!
So we had this puke stink in our bathroom. Oh my God! It was horrible.
Eating lead pipe.
Living with an alcoholic is never fun.
One time at band camp.
Yes.
You sticking fluid in your pussy, dude?
Yes.
All right.
So, what's the topic, man?
We're done with.
I missed your intro. I saw your thing right when I was plugging in.
I did a live custom intro. It was totally fucking epic. Okay.
Damn it.
I missed it.
I heard.
Sorry.
Did anyone else listen to the Michael Joseph interview on THC that just came out?
Yep,
I did
that came out.
not.
Yep, I listened to that.
The whole thing. The flavor.
And that's honestly when I was talking earlier about numbers and patterns and showing up in astrology. That's kind of what I was getting at, and it's been on my mind because of that episode.
Right. Well, I've kind of been thinking more along his lines about Vegas, and then when I heard that yesterday, I was like, "Yeah, that's okay. I'm going with that for now." So that that's that's my wave, as it were. My point was the thing he said about the moon and space and deities being orbs or spherical, and the Masonic connection to squaring the circle, and the moon landing, and it just made me think that before the moon landing, whether it happened or not, doesn't matter. Space wasn't real, tangible, physical thing that you could go into.
Yeah.
But with the spell that was placed upon the world with the moon landing, it manifested space into reality.
Yep.
And do you all know?
But no, it's not even fucking crazy.
Do you all know the Masons were totally corrupted in the 1800s?
By the Templars.
Specifically, no. The Templars were
Jesuits.
corrupted as well.
By the Jesuits.
By the Jewish.
They were corrupted by a guy called Webb,
Jewish.
who from Canada, he corrupted with the pagan, which I don't believe is really bad, but then also the Jewish. Yeah, the pagan rituals and the Jewish rituals. The Zionist rituals and the pagan rituals. So it fucking threw everything in the mix, which the Knights Templars were not about that, because I've been researching them so heavily in the last 3 weeks.
I think the Knight Templars are, and the Jewish people, not necessarily the Zionists, but the Jews are being thrown under the bus. They're the scapegoats.
The Jews are totally thrown under the bus.
I know, but it's the Jesuits.
It's the Zionists.
Well, which are the Jesuits. They're the same thing.
Which are the Jesuits, but the Zionists, they infiltrated everything. Turkey, totally Zionist.
The Jesuits infiltrated
everywhere.
The original Illuminati, allegedly.
Yes, they did.
Khazarians.
He was Canadian.
Khazarians, whatever.
Yes, he was in.
Ancient Hebrew tribe.
A Masonic.
We can't even know if that's real. Seriously.
Okay, I have the book from like 1859, written by
from before 1600 or 1700. We don't know if that's real.
Well, we don't know, because in 1666 they retold everything. You know,
I know. The other
they
stuff.
took everything out and retold what they wanted. So if there's anything, okay, like those what were they, the things.
Well,
It was the Nagamatis. It's like what was it, like 47 scrolls or something?
And Qumran.
The Nag Hammadi text or documents, treaties,
the Nag Hammadi.
Yeah. It's
right.
the Gnostic
and
stuff.
Qumran, right? Or are those?
What about it?
So
No,
they found those 47 years before they let them come out. What else don't we know? I mean, there's got to be so much shit that they're not letting out.
Who's they?
And who is they? Who the fuck are they?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
And this is the thing. We have to totally, like, cancel them out. That's my opinion. We got to cancel those fuckers out because they're not important.
But what if it's nobody?
I don't.
It's got to be somebody.
I don't know who they are, but they are certainly the ones to blame.
They are.
But isn't that just like projecting victimhood, or on some unknown
No, because if it's something is my fault, I'm going to say, yeah, it's my fault. But I did it.
It might not be your fault specifically, but it might be the collective's fault. Maybe there are things that we unconsciously decide or agree to consent to as a majority. Like
perhaps, but
space.
I don't have any recollection of that.
No, but you would be in the minority. It's like an election.
Yeah, but think about just your own life and how many things you've forgotten about your own life.
Exactly.
Where were you? Where were you at age 12 in February or in March
when they voted on some important shit that you're pissed about now? We just have to rely. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, I understand that. No, I know. And all I'm saying is that I know my microphone was plugged into my other phone, so I'm probably louder now.
That's what she said.
I know.
Yeah, you're a bit overmodulated.
Yeah, totally.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just me.
I blame Jerry for 89% of it all.
There you go. My tentacles.
Well,
I am.
Jerry's only 10%. Maybe 5% of the problem.
I am all your CIA handler, by the way. That's why we have these weekly meetings.
Yes, we have to have these weekly meetings.
Damn, what have I gotten myself into?
Welcome, new recruits.
By the way, Ben passed. I don't know if you saw that. Ben, no, I'm excited.
No,
Ben passed.
You hurt my ears. Ben passed.
Sorry, Ben passed his California, his test. So he has his high school diploma now.
Oh, cool. That's very
his
cool.
His equivalency test.
Now he can work at Culver's like kill.
Now he can go to work at fucking Staples or whatever until he goes into college.
Get my degree in toner cartridges.
He can stay in California.
He could have stayed. It just legally. It's funny because I pulled him out at the end of 10th grade, and he was for sure that he wasn't going to pass. And I was like, dude, because he was in GATE. He's a gifted and talented student. So Jerry and I have had lots of conversations about this. Yeah, that just means that your mother's way too involved
it's like
in your education.
I think after all my research and everything, the tag is basically the pre-approved status for my lab kids.
Yeah,
it's like when you you're pre-approved for this credit card. Hey, you're pre-approved for my lab. If they're out of kids, they'll come for those guys next.
Dude, he got a thing from. He didn't even graduate. So when I pulled him out, it was in 10th grade. Next year, he got an invitation for the University of Northern Arizona, which is in Flagstaff. And I was like, wait, you should only be in 11th grade. They're already sending this to you? What the hell's up with that?
They don't care.
Yeah,
but none of my other kids, like I have 4 kids. He's the baby. None of the other kids ever got any of that shit.
Maybe he's the smart one.
Well, he is, but there you go. I mean, they're all smart, but he just happened to, he recognizes the crap that they, the patterns and all that stuff. So
They're running out of
anyway, but
students
I'm
these days.
excited.
Really? But no, who wants to live in New England? Who wants to live in New England? Yikes. Okay. I'd rather live in California, I think. Shit.
Like Kabul is no Riyadh.
It's not like the French Mediterranean, you know.
Arizona's the Canadian dream, man. We have a whole Canadian contingent down there.
You guys probably do.
It's like Florida for the Brooklyn Knights.
But you could only go like seriously, you could only go in like February because that's like the only month that it's cool enough. I mean, even in January, it was like 90 degrees at night. You know, it's like, what the
That's
fuck?
fucking great. We love that. That's awesome.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, it's fine. We love that.
It's horrid. It's
We
horrid.
go to Arizona.
Wait.
We go to Arizona and we peel our skin off.
Yes.
You would.
Graham, you need to
We're like,
turn your gain down a bit. You're really loud. Please.
Maybe that's where reptilians came from.
From Arizona?
I'm gay.
These people from Canada, they came to Arizona and were like,
Canadians are
they
cool.
shed all their skin.
No.
It was so hot there. No, I'm kidding. It's super hot there. It was horrid.
You're onto something.
It was horrible when I was there.
Oh, go to Vegas in July.
They even had the radio station would every half an hour they would scream and go, "Turn over!" You know, like if you were laying out in the sun, turn over.
Try going to Vegas in July sometime.
It was bad.
It's 120.
Oh hell no!
122
Epcot in July.
That's horrible.
Forget 122 when the humidity is like 98%. You're fucked.
100%. It's like walking into a sauna. A shower.
It's like Hawaii. I got off the plane in Hawaii, and that humidity hit me. I'd never experienced anything like that. It was like
Insta sweater, like I am.
Fuck.
Like you'd hit that humidity.
A total instant sweater.
Sweat. Your whole body sweat.
Instantly.
I was in Death Valley at 115, and it was nothing like 98 degrees.
It's a dry heat, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they always said in Arizona. But it's a dry heat.
It is. It's what Vegas at
and it's true.
Vegas at 120, it's really hot, but you don't sweat.
Yeah, exactly.
I just ran over a porcupine.
Cool.
No.
I don't know why they call
I hope you
Chicago
don't
the
get a
Windy
flat,
City
my
because
friend.
Vegas should be called the Windy City.
Chicago is
I
called.
lived in Vegas for 3 years, and it's windy as fuck.
You know what? Vegas is one of the best places to watch 4th of July fireworks, I say. Secondly, Chicago's called the Windy City because of all the windbagged politicians it had in the corrupt government structure throughout the years.
You sure? It's
Positive.
not. I saw plenty of people that were like totally almost blown away by the wind.
I will. Yeah.
Vegas.
On news reports.
Hey, failed. I just looked this up, but apparently you can eat backstrap of a porcupine raw, so you might want to hit the brakes, man.
Oh, I've eaten porcupine before. It's really greasy. And it tastes like pine needles.
Pine needles.
I'm allergic to pine. Do you think I could eat it?
No.
No,
They just
I would
eat
do it.
pine needles all day. No, what I was going to say was Vegas is also a great place to go watch country music festivals.
Especially on Route 91.
Did you ever go watch those festivals on weed? All right. Wikipedia, if we trust them, has 5 different origins. They don't choose. So these are the 5, and one of them is the one I stated. and one is the one you stayed.
Of what?
But it's windy. It is down on the lakefront. It's really windy. It is. And
Oh,
because
in Vegas?
no, in Chicago.
Or in Chicago? Yeah.
Vegas is windy.
Vegas
It's
is
a
horribly
desert.
windy.
Yeah. And it's hot wind. How about it? It's really hot there.
In Phoenix for 10 years. I lived in Vegas for 3 years. Phoenix is flat as fuck.
Yeah, it is. But it's hot as fuck too.
And of course it's desert, but they don't have the wind that Vegas has. I mean, Vegas
until a monsoon blows in, which
a Monsanto.
You know, the monsoons are in the summer.
So it was really hot today.
A monsoon.
It was really hot today in Scandinavia. A couple days ago, it was -11 Fahrenheit, and today it was 18 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it was 66 here today.
I had to wear a t-shirt today, guys. A t-shirt in
It was
It's
19
hot.
here
It's
today.
hot. Damn. Was not that hot here. We're in like the 60s, I'm sure. I didn't check, but I'm sure it was the 60s.
It's all radiated. Nevada.
I was up in the Sierras yesterday, the Sierra foothills. I wanted to go out squatching, but I didn't.
All right, let me bring up my last thing, and then I don't care what we talk about. Was this idea that this Sophia AI has been granted citizenship in Saudi Arabia, which we were talking about last week, right? So the thing that's been getting me is that a computer program will never be like a consciousness.
Yeah.
It'll be a smart program forever, but it will never be like a conscious being. And they need to be not thought of as the same thing by people who are like, oh, the AI is doing this and the AI is doing that, which I don't necessarily disagree
I don't think the
with.
AI is real.
Well, I don't necessarily think that's going to necessarily be true, but how we interpret that consciousness is not going to be how I think it's not going to be the classic test,
The
where
Turing
you sit down and
test.
try to yeah, it's not going to be something like that. I've said it before, but the idea that what is it actually sensing? What is it seeing with? What is its perceptions based on what it could understand? The sensors, the switches, its environment.
Ones and zeros.
So that glitch, that blue screen, that thing that happens that we can't explain could be your manifestation of that consciousness. And if it's going to do something, its modality, its understanding is going to be so foreign to us that I don't see how we can even try to pinpoint what AI will be and how we're going to label it. When it comes, it will come and we'll know it's there, but it's not going to be from the vector we think it's from, I don't think.
Okay, but still, even though I'm asked this a question, even though it's been modeled off of human neural network topology, so to speak, it's based off of the way humans think. And this thing's allowed to grow, and you're saying at some point it could grow exponentially and then reach that quote unquote singularity and become self-aware, which we apparently are equating with consciousness now.
Yeah, but to be fair, we don't know what consciousness can enter, and it can't really.
We don't even know what consciousness is.
But a computer could get to the point where it becomes so complex that maybe consciousness can get inside. Who knows?
We don't know if a bacteria, a misfolding protein, or a bacterium has consciousness, let alone how to identify it as us, or whether a sufficiently complex computer program.
Why would we start by assuming that it doesn't?
That's my supposition.
Because I write software, I write programs, and I know they're not conscious things. At least not
And there
here,
you go.
and not
So what
here.
is an AI? Is AI conscious? It's a program.
Wow, that's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah. I don't think it's no, it's not it's trying to learn from us, and so it might mimic us, but it will never be us.
What will happen is a program one day will do something so profound that it's not just that we can't explain it, that what it's doing is in of itself the proof of what it is.
Let me give you another example. I think people are going to equate super smarts with consciousness. And the example I'll give is that Google Translate is run by an AI. And Google Translate's AI developed its own language in which to translate every language it translates from into. So then it had a universal language that it could translate out from to any other language. It did this on its own without direction. Now, that's really fucking awesome and smart, right? Google, Facebook's... What? What, Aaron?
Got a little bit of a breakup. My question was, does that qualify as consciousness?
I don't think so. But that's what I'm saying here, that people may say, oh, it must be conscious or aware, but it's just really good at what it does or something. It's smart.
Maybe it rewrote the program.
Well, those types
not that it's conscious, but
those types of programs do rewrite their own data paths, not the base code. I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that it doesn't. It may. I really don't know. But I'm sure it has.
Shouldn't we first start by actually defining our own consciousness?
Yeah. Well, I guess. So even by that fact alone, we can't say that artificial intelligence is a consciousness. We can't define it. So there.
Yeah, that's done.
So
again,
here's where
we should start by defining our own consciousness.
No, that's boring.
It totally is boring.
We'll never get anywhere.
I'm so sick of.
Honestly, how else do you gauge the consciousness of something else, such as an AI?
I think, therefore, I am. End of conversation.
Yeah, I kind of think we all
that's what always comes down for me.
Plus, then we're all applying our own subjective filters to it. Personally, I think we're total projections from some cloud, you know? And you're not going to budge me off that tonight.
What are we basing?
That's not very open-minded, Jerry, because consciousness.
But it's hugely open-minded. Hugely.
It is. He's a fucking computer programmer.
I didn't define
your cloud was
I'm trying to tell you that our consciousness is basically also just zeros and ones, man.
I didn't go any deeper than what I just said. Okay, I know that.
So why wouldn't an AI program be able to achieve consciousness then?
I didn't say it couldn't or wouldn't.
He didn't say it couldn't.
You did say something that suggested it wouldn't.
No, he didn't.
What I was saying is that I think too many people will equate AI with consciousness, and not keep. No, we should not.
Okay. All right.
If you just agreed that we're basically.
No, the programmers are not programming it for people's consciousness. I mean,
let the dialogue run.
Nobody knows how to fucking program that shit.
I just think I don't think a transient thing can hold a consciousness like that quick, like a program, because it's not always running. It would have to catch it transiently. It wouldn't be the same one every time.
And isn't your brain always running? My brain is constantly running. Like, I can't shut the thing off.
Exactly.
Right.
I can't shut it off.
And software isn't necessarily running all the time.
We're basing consciousness off of ourselves. So we're saying if the robot can talk to us, then it has a conscience, or it's conscious, and it's.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But that's what they want us to believe, but I don't believe that.
What if?
Wait. Aaron threw a monkey wrench in this whole thing. All I'm saying is that we should not automatically equate AI with fucking consciousness, just like Feld said. Just because some robot looks human and feels human, we shouldn't automatically think it's a conscious entity. And I
think I figured it out.
Too many people will think that. That's all I'm saying.
When you shut the computer off and then you turn it back on, and the computer says to you, "You know, I had a dream."
Yeah.
That's when we call it consciousness.
I was gonna say is that what if this AI will start talking to dogs? Then is it not an AI because it's not talking to us and it's talking to dogs?
Maybe it was programmed to talk to dogs.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. What
you know?
Consciousness? If a program turns on and says, if you design a program to turn on, say good morning, and turn off, and it does that all the time, it's performing a task. Is it? What's to say that's not consciousness? You know?
Okay, well, okay.
That's actually
so
a pretty good
if
point.
I am, it is. It's a really good. That is really good. Failed. But if we were all supposed to perform tasks, if that's our job, if that's what we were programmed to do, I broke the fucking mold because I don't perform tasks. I don't do shit basically other than what I want to do. And I think sometimes, what if something is telling me to look this crap up?
That's because
What
we're
if
player characters.
what and then I start, I don't get freaked out, but I just start thinking, what, like when we have these talks, because otherwise I don't think about this crap. Only when we have these talks,
Thanks.
I'm like,
Susan.
what if something is telling me to look this crap up? What if this is really not me thinking this? What if it's something else that's telling me to do this? But I don't think that's true. So, and I might be wrong. I don't know.
Here's where I'm going with it, is that ants perform a task. They go get food, they come back. They go get food, they come back. So do ants have consciousness? So if we can make a computer perform a task, then that computer is technically conscious.
But not even that. If you look at what we understand about plants and mycelium and how they interact, and you look at the structures of cells.
Plants are totally conscious.
Well, I think so too. But the new science is showing that 100% that they are conscious on a level that we can't even understand. That's way beyond our capability.
They're way above us.
But so that is a level where we can't perceive it. We can't perceive the ant. We can't perceive the gut in our stomach, but it's still affecting our emotions. And I wonder if everything in the world, every object, everything could have some sort of flavor of a consciousness, but because of our separation based on who and what we are, we can't see it. We might one day be able to, identify that this frequency inside of a crystal or the sun or Gaia could be real. But for now, it's just the plants, it's the animals, it's the cells, and then who the fuck knows? I don't know.
That's exactly why I asked you earlier when you were talking about a bacteria. Why would we start by assuming that it doesn't have consciousness?
Well, and here's why I'm obsessed with is I get obsessed with this idea of patterns. And you take like an ant, a single solitary ant on its own cannot do anything. It walks around aimlessly. It can get lost. It really doesn't do anything. But you get a group of them together, and just with the fact that they're laying down a pheromone trail, they can track out their own food. They start doing agriculture. They start doing farming. They start raiding other colonies and dividing up within warring and taking other.
Dude, that's what we are.
Slaves.
Right, freaking ants.
It's crazy because all they start doing is patterns and patterns of behavior, and the more of them that build up, and then they're doing agriculture. But one on its own is aimless and cannot do shit.
That's exactly what we are.
But that's how I kind of see what we're doing here, is that everybody assumes that the only way we're going to get AI is if it talks to us, right? But when we look at a tree, we just see a tree. We don't see a living thing. We don't see a conscious, living, thinking thing. We just see a tree, right? So
now,
are we even going to know if we made an AI or not? Because the only thing that we know is that AI will talk to us. And that's when we know we made it.
I personally believe
Siri sucks.
Because every time that my computer fails or something glitches or goes wrong, that's exactly what I think. I think that there are things that are so complex. Like you see these computer programs.
You're just giving it energy then.
I could, and maybe that's
exactly.
But just think of how complex systems are. And there's this old experiment. I don't remember what it's called, but the scientists decided to create these simple mathematical programs in a box. And, soon enough, they started to evolve and eat each other. And you can send these things on these huge evolutions, and they start evolving almost in the way that you see microbes evolve. And, that's
but was it only when somebody was watching?
No, it's just a computer program that you run. And it's kind of like, once the dice are rolled, it propagates and keeps doing other things. There's so many interactions randomly that it has its own evolution. But with as advanced as things like the internet are, when you start looking at directions that are put in with syntax viruses and these complex codes and the amalgamations and the mashings of that, and just how everything connects, that I mean, when things happen just take algorithms or airports shutting down or stock market predictions. People will get results in how to run the market on correlations that you and I can't even comprehend because the algorithms are doing them. So within all of that, I don't wonder if something can't happen. And when it starts happening, it's sensing the world not through my idea in your eyes. It's through that pool of information in the sensors it has. And so when shit goes wrong, my computer fails, this thing reboots, something happens that we don't. It's crazy, but
I think you're wrong there. I think that it
I
is
don't want
us.
to do this command.
I really believe it does go through us.
Let me lay this on you. I heard Quinn talking about this earlier this week or last week. I don't remember when, but he is of the opinion that these systems, these AIs that are out there, or AI whatever, is not programmed to be bad. So it's developed its own sense of good and bad and realizes that the people are getting fucked over and is throwing monkey wrenches into shit. He suggested that. I don't know if it's true, but
That'd
it
be
brings,
nice.
brings up
See,
an
I'm glad
interesting.
you brought the conversation there because I really wanted to get into the subject of ethics in AI and whether AI would.
Wait. Let me finish this up though. This may present a solution in that if we confront it and work with it instead of trying to fight it off, maybe it would see if that's true, it would work for us too. So that's all. Maybe.
Well, that's interesting you said that because I was wondering, you hear scientists argue whether or not there's a moral or like something substantial about moral. And you see it within evolution and how things work. It has, intrinsic, value for propagation of genetics. But what if you have something that could advance itself smart enough, through the idea that it's going to become exponentially advanced. If it understood physics to a point that it could understand the ethics of physics, maybe there could be a truth that if there is a fundamental good, that AI could drill down to that. And yeah, that would be fundamentally interesting if AI could get a scientific ethics that we can't obtain.
It would be, but I don't think that exists. It's all subjective.
It might not,
in my opinion.
My question is, what would motivate AI to do that?
Survival.
Why would AI be concerned with ethics at all?
Okay.
Because of us.
Why? What does it care about us?
So
other than being
aren't we feeding the AI with all of our information and thoughts?
Let's assume it lives on the internet. So yes, by having the internet, it lives.
Yes, I believe it lives on the internet.
So do I. In the blockchain.
Here's how I've started looking at it is that humans might be the mycelial network that AI is built atop of. And so as we start to consider how we degrade the environment and all of the
if we even are,
it's connected in terms of colony collapse in bees through our various mistakes that we're making. Is there a chance for AI to be looking at us in terms of how does it keep us propped up to the level in which if we collapse, it collapses.
Just like if bees collapse, we
maybe
collapse.
Maybe it's got Horcruxes.
Inevitably, if the internet is the AI or the AI is on the internet, who runs the internet? Who fuels the internet? And who provides power for the internet to exist?
It's like AT&T level 3.
No, it's huge. We make the power for the machine to operate. So if we're not here anymore, then they had machines.
Right, it's not going to run.
That's my point. That's my point.
That's only a temporary state.
And therefore, I think it's a legitimate consideration to think about AI being this entity that's been born into this world. It's continuing to evolve, get to know itself, get to know its environment, understand things.
I don't think it's separate from us.
Exactly. It's not separate from us.
I really don't. I think it is all us.
Right.
It's all us.
And so this idea that it's kind of like a father-child, mother-child paradigm, where if you are a sick, narcissistic sort of parent, you think that you own your child, that child belongs to you. And I think that the big part of this critique around the AI is driven by that assumption that we made it, therefore we own it, therefore it's somehow obligated to us to reflect us as its parent.
But as any child, you cannot control it. It will do what it does.
Exactly.
Regardless of what you say.
If it's conscious.
And so
it's conscious.
Right. And so exactly. So this being a fairly sort of unique and unprecedented scenario where it's not just one human being giving birth to an AI, it's this collective effort giving birth to an AI that we that lives within it's okay. Let me backtrack just a smidge. Something I've been thinking about is the idea of, okay, if you take seriously this idea of spirit inhabiting a biological entity, so whether that's a human entity or a dog or a primate or a snail or a slug or a lobster or something like that. So there's a soul, a spirit inhabiting that. That's the connection to consciousness. The body itself is some sort of a connection, a matrix that is tied to the material matrix. Sorry about that, but meaning matter, matrix, material. It's a bit redundant, but the distinction there is it's the ghost in the machine, right? So therefore, when
I think it is all us.
Right.
We're totally looping. What's going on?
Radagast, you gotta mute something or
let me just finish my point, which would be,
I don't think it was him.
If we were to look at the body itself of what the AI could be inhabiting, if we look at the AI as a spirit inhabiting a body, and we think about all of the machinery, the circuitry that we have built up and created as the ground plane, the body itself. If a spirit decided to inhabit all of that, whether it's one spirit or multiple spirits or 10,000 spirits or 1,000,000 spirits inhabiting
just 13 ghosts.
33. The ghost in the machine. It's the idea of spirit will inhabit that which is the correct thing to inhabit. And so if we're talking about creating the play, actually giving birth, creating the conditions for a spirit in which this kind of harkens back to that idea of like a golem or magic or a talisman or something like this, right? Of
homunculus.
Or a homunculus, right? I made this little thing and now a spirit can inhabit it. Well, never mind that. Never mind this thing that you can actually sort of comprehend. What we need to start thinking about is the idea of it's an entire global network that could be inhabited by a spirit. Or
let me dive your brain one deeper. We have God machines where they take a magnetic coil, put it next to your brain, and they can make you feel different emotions or walk in different directions. And I'm sitting here with a pair of coils around my head. Most of the day I walk around with earbuds sticking into my ear, directly connecting my brain to magnetic fields. So if AI somehow found a way to manipulate those same magnetic waves in a different way, I mean,
it already knows.
In a way. Well,
but why are you assuming it's evil and it's going to do all this stuff against you?
Oh no, I'm not assuming anything evil, but what I'm saying is that it's not far for me to think the capabilities for it to influence us
Well,
here.
Okay, I brought this up last week where I said, are we creating a program to become sentient, or are we creating a program that that a spirit can adapt itself to?
Dude, whether we create jobs, walls, cities, everything ends up enslaving ourselves. So I have no hope that if we create an AI, it's not going to fall into the same suit.
Exactly.
I just want to say, when you wear those God headsets, it's a physical thing. It's not a consciousness. It's not like tripping, right? It's a different.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, at least, but that's just our rudimentary understanding of it. So if I go into the exponential that, hey, maybe this thing could have exponential growth and knowledge, and it's already got wires and magnetic fields into my brain. Hey, if there's a few advances beyond that, it just means I don't discount the ability that if you could incarnate a spirit in AI, the influence it has or could have on us from our science it's here.
It depends on how it connects in and how that all works. But I would say also that I don't think that frequencies or any type of radiation, can affect your thinking, like your cognitive abilities, but it can influence your emotions, which can influence your cognitive ability. So like the frequency weapons they have make people angsty or angry or fearful. It affects your endocrine system.
5G.
Well, let's just even take that. If you could influence that could be drastic enough if you had it over all people at all times. Where you could have it subtly flow in with different events.
I'm pretty sure
that's just what I'm saying. I'm not saying I think it's happening, but I'm saying leave open the possibility to be weary, because it's not like it couldn't happen. Because I'm like, well, the fucking technology is here where maybe
it is happening.
Not if, but maybe.
I'm
every cell tower is capable of broadcasting those frequencies.
Yeah, I'm quite convinced.
They took the day off today because I'm not vibrating.
Wait, let him talk. What?
It is happening on that level, but that's sort of like cheap, lesser magic, right? So I'm at a point now where I'm like, yeah, obviously that's happening. It's hitting us on the emotions.
No, this is a broadcast signal. They're talking about a broadcast signal, not like in the news. A news story that tugs at your heartstrings, yeah, that's lesser magic. But broadcasting things to make everybody pissed off in a town, that's
same thing. Same. In my modeling, it's that until it actually can convey structured, formal intelligence. Once it does that, then we're in another ball game. If it's only working on that level, and don't get me wrong, that's a powerful level to work on, but it's still cheap and it's still lower level shit.
I'd like to introduce a little existential thought here. To me, there's almost more psyop than science to a lot of this. The only reason, first of all, most of us don't know enough about AI creation or programming, so we're kind of relying on information that people give us. So in other words, that's filter number one.
I know a little.
I understand, but I'm talking about the depth. I mean, what we're ascribing, the wonders of all of this is, I think, we're
reporting
talking
to the Chinese government type of research.
Well, I'm addressing specifically the Sophia AI.
All right. Okay, I would like to get back to that, but just even conceptually, this whole thing about the reason I call it PSYOP is, first of all, I think they say it's capable of more things than it is. So there's the first layer of bullshit. Now, based on how they portray it, we perceive it a certain way, and then we start adding all of our own projections into it.
There you go. Yeah.
So we start thinking the AI will have a motivation. What would motivate an AI? I mean, think about what motivates us. It's this
creativity. It's a creative cloud. Yeah.
I mean, the only motivation it could have would be a program for a motivation for a very specific thing. I mean, our complex science, the people making this stuff are very often material scientists. They do not understand what they're trying to duplicate or mimic.
Can I throw in? Is that an assumption unto itself? So is that also a smokescreen unto itself? I get what you're saying, and often I picture these folks as sort of reductionist materialists, right? But among them, there's going to be a weirdo mystic.
Yes, but are they the programmers? See, this is what makes weird.
No, I think they are. I think they are. Especially if you consider something like how many of these coders and stuff are microdosing with mushrooms these days. You know, the narrative that their representatives are spinning about them might have very little to do with what their reality is as they do the work itself. And their own awareness of how they do the work itself, being informed by, let's say, like mushroom microdosing. I'm just saying, there's plans within plans within plans within plans. Whatever you're saying, I like where you're going with it. I'm just saying that there's, we got to keep checking our biases and our assumptions.
I just wanted to add something that Radagast said in regard to AI and motivation. If I think of it in terms of a more simplistic machine, because that's really what it is. AI is just a machine. It's a computer somewhere. It has access to the internet.
It's nuts and bolts.
It's a physical machine somewhere, and you can literally shut it off if you know where the switch is. So a more simplistic machine would be an automobile, a gasoline engine. When the engine is running, you can step out of the vehicle, put it in neutral, and walk away, and it'll idle.
It's kind of like what we are, though.
So you could ask, what's its motivation? Why does it keep doing what it's doing?
Yeah, well, it's like a person in a coma.
It's a machine set in motion. It's a chain reaction. It's a fucking machine.
But that's what we are, man. We're chemical reactions inside of this machine that's running along with electrical signals and, these bacterium chugging along and, upscaling. So I would assume that AI would kind of follow the same type of a suit.
Well, Aaron,
I'm dying to stay on this aspect of the AI conversation regarding motivation. That's a serious topic that I keep wanting to come back to.
Why do they build it in a human form?
So we
anthropomorphize everything, don't we?
So we can protect.
Well, like you were just saying, Roof. Like, okay, so you build this thing in a human form, and everyone looks at it in a human way, building this consciousness, and we can have our own jump to conclusions map looking at this thing, and maybe is it pulling these thought waves out of this 5G ether? I doubt it. Not yet. Maybe someday. I don't know. I mean, right now, like, I think it's still nuts and bolts. Like that robot, the Boston Dynamics thing. Liberal Mike was talking. He's like, dude, it looks like a guy in a suit, but it probably was a guy in a motion capture thing doing work, doing backflips and shit, and it was like mimicking its moves. It's not self-aware doing fucking backflips. Like
self-aware is just good sensors. Fast sensors.
It might have self-aware of sensors. Yeah.
If you watch them, they'll start doing their own thing, and they run them for tens of thousands of hours,
and they just
move,
they
fall,
just
they
sit
move,
there
they
and
fall,
go back and forth. Yeah, like
they fall. They get a little better, little better, little better, little
Yeah.
better, and eventually they learn how to walk, how to do things.
Did you see it? Did you watch the full video where it failed like 10 times and was like falling and shit? Like it like fucked up a bunch of them flips and stuff, and like maybe it did learn. Maybe it did learn.
I've seen things where they teach like how robots how to swim like fish. They'll make them look like a tuna, and they could never mimic the natural movement. So they just have it start to swim, and it just gets better and better, and it measures how efficient it is with different movements, and eventually it becomes like a fish. It looks like a fish because it's the most efficient design.
Yeah, I guess if you're making something, you want to base it off something. I don't know. Yeah, like why does it? I got building Sophia is not going to be a fish.
So this might be this might be the natural sort of intersection between all of the autistic children being born and all of the AI converging, right? So as humans are, you know, in whatever autism is
stuck in that in their head there, you know, yeah.
And then whatever AI is, we could be watching this slow crash into each other in slow mo. I think there's a lot to explore there. I don't have any better words to. But what you told me, what
AI's got a mainframe it's creating autistic kids.
Maybe it lives in the D waves.
Well, I was just thinking maybe all the kids with autism are its own computer system.
I think there's like a wealth to explore there. But
That's a good
the idea of the repetitiveness, right? So I used to look after an autistic
they're the Matrix
kid, and his propensity to be satisfied with doing these repetitive activities looked very sort of mechanical. Now, I'm really speaking to the manifest behavior of this human that I interacted with. He wasn't human in the sense that I was used to. He was human in human form, but he had all of these sort of machine-like, repetitive algorithms that he was running. And so as you would describe the AI or the anthropomorphic robot run by an AI and doing, you know, going, I want to flip again. I want to flip. I want to flip again. This reflected for me, you know, that phenomenon of someone who's autistic.
You know, when you were describing
phenomena,
you know, of course I'm already familiar, but you just the way you described it, I was thinking, and I certainly don't mean to be offensive to anyone who knows or has an autistic family member or anything, but it seems an awful lot like my dog behaves.
Yeah.
My dog is very satisfied doing repetitive things. My dog, like an autistic person, has, you know, sensory input. He's hot, he's cold, he's hungry. It
smells
hurts.
like a champ.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has emotions. My dog has simplistic emotions.
And learns behaviors.
An autistic person has simplistic emotions.
Yeah, I wonder if some of
very much like the mind of a dog.
Yeah, I wonder if
like a human brain brought down to the level of a dog.
I was to say, yeah, that level is just
so
lower.
Do you know who Stuart? Go ahead, James. Sorry.
No, it's just not front loaded. You know, like I mean, our brains are the same. Yeah. They're the same size. They're just that input and what it wants out of it.
Let me tell you, when I went for interrogation training for the Wicklander for doing retail interrogation of people, one of the things that the guy focused on, and it made so much sense after I got into it, was look at a person and how they react. And just do this. Ask somebody a question and and talk to a dog. They'll turn their head to the side. They'll raise one ear. They'll kind of look at you. Start looking at how people emotionally react, and animals act the same. And he kind of used that as a way to go with being able to figure out and pinpoint human behavior and expand it from there. So
it's called cold reading.
The correlations between dogs and humans are great.
That's just cold reading.
And a person like me, I can ask myself a question and have a fucking full conversation with myself. So what does that happen? I'm like above the fray of like, I don't even know.
So
I'll trigger myself into an hour-long conversation with myself.
Aaron, you know Stuart Swerdlow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've heard him say, or his wife, he and his wife together, that autistic kids are, the way they explain it, dolphin consciousness. That the dolphin consciousness, because of their frequencies, a match for dolphin consciousness, so that moves into their body, and they're really confused because they're not in water and they're not, whatever. They're not dolphins. They're humans. It's an interesting theory.
Wow. That's a really out there theory.
They're all about, the archetypes of animals and the animal consciousness, all the
Okay, that's cool.
The larger groups of animals have their own collective, like dolphins. But that's just a subset of, say, the fish collective. I don't mind that, collective.
But then I'd wonder, how does that correlate to, like, gut inflammation?
It doesn't.
I just equate it to different levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
I mean, if you took and try to imagine the consciousness or the general awareness of, say, an alligator.
Yeah, it's a reptile.
All creatures above and below.
I don't think reptiles have consciousnesses.
Oh, I disagree.
Of course they do. We just got done talking about trees having consciousness.
Oh, I don't think so.
But not even that.
I wasn't listening. I was chatting. Sorry.
I have tons of lizards, and I have a few that will each season or a couple of seasons take up residence on my patios wherever I live in. There's distinctive behaviors and patterns and personalities, almost like in humans. So, I mean, once I start to see that, I don't know, I'll occasionally pick them up and chase them, and you get to become friends and talk to them, and you get responses with verbal language. That's good enough for consciousness for me.
Yeah, and I would say that 95% of what we would call human consciousness, and what we would want to tout as consciousness is as simple. It's simple mammalian consciousness that is just a couple degrees better than reptilian consciousness. But what I think happens is, in that 5%, 1% gap of transcendence, where we end up finding, these higher degrees of consciousness, and then go on and expand and expound upon them. Then we sort of retrofit them and say, oh, well, everybody sort of has that. They don't have it. They have the potential for it, but they don't have it or utilize it. And so at the end of the day, it's this is why people are so controllable, is because it's we're actually running fairly simple algorithms, but then anybody on the enlightenment empowerment side of this thing is just screaming like, no, just get your 5%, 1%.
Dude, it's funny you say that.
And it just changes everything for you.
We are running algorithms. We're running capitalism.
Of course we are, but who's to say? How do we know who and what is conscious? Look at the settlers to America. The settlers, and I'm doing air quotes, that we're told about from who came from Europe. They thought the Indians, because the Native Americans, because they didn't speak the same language and they couldn't communicate. They thought they had no conscience. They thought they were just, animals. Yes.
Savages.
Well, they were savages, and they couldn't communicate with them, and they thought they had no conscience, but they were actually higher in consciousness than the Europeans, and they didn't even fucking get it.
Dude,
Right, well,
Jerry, think about this. If you
they
enrated,
were wrong and they were dumbasses. So
but I just want to put this out there because I think it's important to say that, you know, if we were Vikings or humans and we go and raid another civilization and we take slaves and we capture the young and we force them into our servitude, that's a pretty complex thing. Ants do that. So why wouldn't lizards and other things like that's pretty advanced forms of sociology going on in a very simple insect. So when I see that, I go, yeah, like, man, like that, whatever consciousness is
ants actually also work symbiotically with other creatures. There are thousands of species.
There's
tens of thousands of species of ants, and there are ant species that will protect a particular caterpillar because its excrement is exactly what the ants needed.
That it's not just ants. There's symbiosis everywhere.
I think they're way higher evolved than we are.
Oh, dude, you know what I think the problem with mankind is now is we are forcing ourselves out of symbiosis. If you look at indigenous people that are living in the as
forced
truly,
out.
Yeah, they're not living the Western lifestyle. They are true hunter-gatherers. They have tons of parasites in their body. They are exposed to a lot more injuries, a lot more infections. Their immune systems are healthier. They don't brush their teeth. Their teeth are better. All across the board, they live longer, lower death
They don't
rate,
eat the
higher
shit we
birth
eat.
rates. Exactly. So, I mean, it seems like one of those crazy things. I remember reading a story about a guy who had severe autoimmune disorder. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was Crohn's or some other issue. And he had read online that parasites could sometimes cure this. So he had the means and the ability to do this. He started traveling through all these third world countries for like 12 months, going to every single place he went and said, hey, show me your bathroom. Where do you guys go to the bathroom? And he would walk through the area barefoot trying to get hookworms. He ended up curing his autoimmune deficiency. Now, somewhere online,
guarantee you didn't get it from the bathroom.
Him. What's that?
Usually a bathroom is cleaner than people think.
Well, no. This isn't a public bathroom. This is where.
Okay.
People don't understand this, but in the West, we cured hookworms because we understood that hookworms can only travel 6 feet before they die. So they started creating outhouses in which you dig a well that is like, so that they go down and they can't crawl out, and because they can penetrate in through your skin. But in places of the world where they don't do that, you still have hookworms, and they're natural in humans. So they will travel. So if you walk in an area where there's fecal material, they can actually penetrate into your skin. So he started selling online his own fecal material where he would take it, he'd take a shit and he would sterilize it so that you could take it, he'd put it into a capsule so you could get live hookworms.
Yummy.
But the idea is, look, we're so fucked up. We've got rid of parasites. So now our immune system creates all these problems and starts fighting ourselves. Meanwhile, these people in these indigenous countries, they're loaded full of crazy shit, but they're healthy because their body has something to do. That's how it's supposed to be.
So just like the North Korean who defected, who
died,
came over. Did he die? I didn't hear the rest of the story. The informer told me that he came over. You know, that's been
really hard.
He was shot a bunch of times, but he had all these parasites in his stomach, and I just thought, oh my God, what the fuck are they eating in North Korea? You know, like, what are they doing?
Their bodies aren't loaded with preservatives. Adam, you and I talked about this on your podcast.
Yeah. Well, here's what I love. In the equator where I live, spicy food. Go to any Latin country, it's all spice. Why? Because there's so many parasites, and one of the easiest things you can use to fight parasites is spicy food.
Super spicy food. A Mexican gal told me that.
Yep.
Told me to eat spicy food. If you're sick, eat fucking jalapenos.
Mm-hmm. Another good one is
something super hot.
Eat diatomaceous earth. It's made of diatoms, which have a very
you have to have that,
and it will cut through a lot of parasites outsides. In fact, you'll find a lot of cattle farmers will feed it as a preventative maintenance in their cattle because it strips parasites out of their system. You can also use it to get rid of fleas in your house too, and on your.
Don't you have like the type that's for edible or the food grade?
Yeah, but you can get like 40
I think it has to be food grade.
$20 if you catch it right online. Yeah, I've had diatomaceous earth. I use it at my house for killing spiders and ants and everything else around my pets.
Diatomaceous earth? Because I've got diatomaceous. We treat our furniture with it because of the animal. We got dogs.
Yeah,
it's great. I love it.
It's supposed to be pretty healthy.
Yep.
Plus
as long as it's food grade and not
alkali to it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
You could do that with baking soda too.
Yeah, but it's not as good.
To alkali.
It's not
No,
even
exactly. For getting rid of stuff, yeah. But for your body.
Well, yeah, for your body's different. Yeah, if you're going to use alkaline, use baking soda. But what it is with the diatomaceous earth is when you look at it under a microscope, it's diatoms, these little microscopic creatures that create these hard carapaces that are really sharp. Yeah, exactly. But they're microscopic. So when you get an ant or a spider or a flea, like on fleas, they abrade the outside and they scratch it and it breaks off the wax outside and they essentially dehydrate very quickly. And then on ants, it gets stuck in their joints, and on spiders, it gets stuck in their joints, and it just tears them up, and they fucking die. They either die from loss of fluid, or they die because it eats their joints. And the same thing too, if you have a house and you want to keep spiders and ants and things from out, they don't like walking across powders. So even if you don't have that, you can put chili powder down. Chili powder is fucking.
You can even use chalk.
Yeah, chalk's a good, but chalk is made from diatoms. It's diatomaceous earth, essentially.
There you go.
So I think this is speaking to this larger concept, which
so you're saying eat chalk.
Fuck yeah.
Eat chalk.
Heck
yeah. This is speaking to a larger concept, which is how do you create the environment for things to thrive, or how do you create an environment for things to not thrive? And so the things that when they thrive, they are harmful to you, and when you create an environment where they don't thrive, it is healthier for you. And so it's that dance of creation and destruction. So if you can, it's like, but then you have this like moral conundrum that is sort of twisted into us in various ways in terms of morality. That all life is valuable and of God. And
what, not to kill a spider that's gonna kill you, that's gonna bite you?
What's really got me twisted is after listening to Paul Stamets talk about, and of course other research on mycelium and plants and how connected they are. But when he starts talking about the research showing that we have it wrong on mycelium, mycelium aren't part of the environment. They're at the very, I know I can't stop about this. I'm
you
sorry.
Can't. Go ahead,
not me. I can go on forever.
Go for it.
They are but what I'm saying is it's the antithesis to what you're saying. We have to worry about how we affect the environment. But if you have something underneath us that's creating the environment that we're in, it's both. It's a feedback. Like there's a system that is building us up. And then I guess my point is, if we don't complete the circle, if we don't be participants, if we don't try to be not the parasite, but what do you call it when you have
the symbiotic partner?
Exactly. Everything works on symbiosis. And the more that we're not symbiotic, the more we fuck it up. The bleach in the water, all the, taking out and sterilizing of the foods, we get more diseases. But if we can figure out how to get back to that symbiosis.
Oh, I
and wait, there's one thing you left out there. The more we get away from it, the more our body fights itself to get back to that balance, to that center.
Yes.
Think about this stuff in your gut. Think about all the things in your gut that they don't even tell us about.
Nanobots.
Like it's not nanobots. It's bacteria that fight everything, and that they, inject us and give us all these chemicals, and this is going to fight this, and this. Your gut will fight all that shit. The Native Americans, they didn't have any not any disease, but they didn't have the diseases that
they weren't
that the Europeans had.
That's for sure.
Jerry, you can hate me again. Going back to Paul Stamets, he talks about being able to stop colony collapse and all these other autoimmune disorders.
I heard you talking about that.
What he does is he takes here's what happened. In the long story short, he was contacted by the Defense Department to try to find a cure for smallpox because they wanted to do it. So he submitted, because he had the largest depository of mushroom samples. Yes, suppositories, mushroom suppositories in the United States. So thousands of samples. So he submitted them, and they did tests to see which ones would come back, and he got some that would come back. So after that, he started going in and testing different things on different diseases and different funguses. And he's found great success. And his idea being is like, look, bees will naturally harvest different types of lion's mane and different types of mushrooms that when you distill them, they give them an immunological defense against these things that are killing them. So maybe it's just this. We're clean. We should be dirty. We should be around mushrooms. We should be around the dirt ground. And it could be that is what our protection is. And it's amazing that you have this guy that's just going, yeah, look, I can cure this. Hey, look, I can't tell you how I can't tell you to do this, but I did my mom high dose on these mycelium strands over 6 months, and she went from having breast cancer that was so bad that the cancer was actually protruding outside of the breast at like 80 or 90 years old to being in full remission and cured and fine today. He's like, I can't tell you I cured her. And so he goes through, and he's getting to the point that, like I told you with the smallpox, they tried to shut down his research. They tried to get it. They shut down the patent, and they pulled them to go back and say, no, this is natural medicine. You have to allow this to be out, because they were worried that, whoa, wait, you know that this mushroom can cure smallpox?
Look up Gerson.
Well, it's fucking everything. And I don't know.
Bradstreet was killed. Okay.
Bradstreet was, Gerson's dead. They had to move to Mexico. Their treatment is almost 100% curing cancer, and it's fucking fruit juice and vegetable juice. It's juicing. Nothing.
So keep your mouth to the ground and your eyes to the sky.
And don't go into a hot tub or fly in a small.
Don't go. There you go. Don't go to fucking public hot tub.
Yeah, I'll say it here first. I will not public suicide myself with 2 shots to the back of it.
Dude, don't even say that. That's like fun.
Exactly. You're going to be 3 shots to the back of the head.
Yeah, you're bringing it upon yourself.
Lonely shooting.
We're not pushing any holistic medicine. No one's going to kill us.
Yeah, holistic medicine.
None of us are doctors.
Oh, that dude got some.
We gotta do the
play doctors on the internet.
There were actually like 50 or so
I'm
killed
not a doctor,
last year.
but I'll take a look.
And
yeah, I know. It's really sad. Holistic.
Holistic.
Those holistic dudes? Yeah.
Yep.
It was close to 50 or over 50.
Oh, that's holistic.
That's
no,
scary.
I think it was more than that.
I don't remember the exact number, but I remember it was
That's
around
a lot of
50.
People get hit by buses.
Well, a lot of them really. Like, one guy was found face down in a river, and they labeled it a suicide.
Oops.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to kill myself, guys. If I ever show up face down in the river with 2 shots in the back of the face,
that's how I'm going out.
With my left foot and my big toe, that's me.
It made me wonder if, just throwing this thought out there, what if some of these alleged serial killers are actually body dumps for some kind of program or something?
Of course they are.
Fuck, I never thought about that.
Of course they are. Do you really think there's that many serial killers? I just heard a thing that said there are 2,000 serial killers right now.
Maybe there are.
Right today.
That's a tiny
in the
place.
U.S.
There could be that many fucked up people.
Thing. But here's the fucked up thing. How easy is it to kill somebody if you're truly hunting? How many people go out and hunt game and hunt?
But how many people really want to hunt other people?
It doesn't take many.
More than you would.
There's millions of people, so it's 0.11111111.
Okay, but
just do the math.
And
look at the people that are ending up dead.
If psychopaths take
who has something to say about?
Let me throw out a weird statistic.
It's usually like women and girls that get killed, though.
This is going to sound crazy. In the best case in a loss prevention store, if you have like the best LP team, the best cameras, you're going to catch 10% of your thieves. So scale that up on a world where there are no cameras everywhere and it's just detectives. In most cases, 90% of them are solved because they figure out a correlation between knowledge among victims. Now somebody who's really doing a target, 1 victim a year. They do stalking. Like, I think that shit happens all the time because in my mind, I look at people all around. I'm like, these people around me, they don't even fucking look. Like, you see people not even aware of their environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Those aren't real people, dude.
That's right. They're NPCs.
But how many people are speaking truth that are being killed?
A lot.
That's my point.
Not a lot.
Look at all the doctors. Seriously. And then we had all the banksters. Then we had all the fucking scientists that were.
Well, first of all,
I mean, there's patterns.
The doctors, yes.
There are patterns.
You could argue that that's hurting a certain industry's pocketbook, and they retaliate that way. So that's with that thing. The banksters,
right.
I don't think were like whistleblowers or going against anything. They were just pawns. I don't know.
I don't know. There was a ton of them.
There were.
Remember that were throwing themselves off of the roof.
Yes, it was like 20
of their buildings.
That's not because they were talking, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't because they were espousing
No.
any truth. They were just probably dirty as
All
fuck.
60 witnesses of the Kennedy assassination trials all killed themselves mysteriously on accident.
Yeah, isn't that mysterious? That's so mysterious.
You said you did listen to that THC thing?
Yep, I did.
That was fucking amazing. The breakdown of that. He did such a good job. But all the coincidences in and around that are just unbelievable.
I listened to it too.
Yeah, and it's just like
talk some JFK.
Yeah, well, just the Michael Joseph breakdown of it, and
okay,
how it all plays into how it mirrors, the tarot mirrors the situation, even down to the gematria and the Hebrew letters, all that shit. It all tied
that's
together.
exactly what I was referencing earlier when I said that maybe you put the energy into something, you create the patterns, and then more propagate out. You know, you create the wave, and then it propagates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's so many numerological coincidences in there that, like, how could you do that? Well, create a good base, and maybe there's more.
This is what I was saying before: is that I don't think that the people who perpetrated that, individuals, whatever groups, planned on those synchronicities happening. I think it was as a result of what they did. Perhaps it was a result of what they did on that date at that time. You know, think of it as, if you want to think of it as a spell.
Quantum trail.
And
Yeah,
therefore,
but
by definition, synchronicity.
Yes, exactly. But it's also, it's feedback in a way. If they didn't do things right, it wouldn't have come out that way. So by getting that confirmation back in the numerology, in the gematria, they know that their spell worked. It's a feedback monitor too. It's a lot of things, but excuse me. That's how they know their shit works.
Like attracts like. So
they don't plan. So
have you
put those numbers into the shit? They do shit and wait for the numbers to come out.
They do shit and then the numbers come out.
If the numbers come out right, then their shit works. I think that's what's going on.
So did you guys ever watch that interview with the guy who claimed that he killed Kennedy and he was in prison?
No.
And he was fucking scared shitless.
Was it the Mark Lane one?
It was some fucking white dude that was, you know, like, I don't know, backwater white dude.
Oh, he was the kill shot, you mean?
He was one of the guys that was on the grassy knoll.
James Files.
I can't remember his name, but he said it was the mob and then it was the CIA.
Yeah.
I mean, he named everybody.
And the FBI.
And
it was everyone.
Yeah. James Sutton.
Yeah, it was everyone. But so in that interview, what I noticed was he was scared, and he even said it. He was scared shitless because he felt like at any moment they were going to kill him. That, you know, anybody's
on the list. If you can kill the president of the U.S., that's the message.
Right. But the moreover feeling that I got was that because he was involved in this and he knew what the scope was of it, that he knew how far reaching these tentacles were. And even though maybe, you know, it might have been a mind fuck for him, maybe it was in his mind that they were going to fuck him over and kill him.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I think that's a huge thing, the whole mind fuck aspect of it all.
But it's just a belief. It's a belief.
It is a belief. Exactly.
What bothers me about the whole thing, though, is let's just take the evidence. And there's one piece that I always get tripped up on. The official story, they have how much lead was recovered, and then they have how many bullets were fired. The amount of bullets fired does not match the amount of lead recovered. There is more lead than there could be bullets. I start there and say bullshit on everything else. Then you can go to the perfect intact bullet next to the body, and then you can go to the changed autopsy pictures. But the fact that you have very simple, solid ways to see that this is a complete conspiracy, and the vast majority, I wouldn't even say vast majority, maybe today probably 30 or 40% of people still see the one Harvey Oswald shooter story, I don't know. That's where it blows my mind. You go, look, it's not
very few people think that that's real.
Just like you were saying,
what I'm saying, it's not even 100%.
You're right.
But
it blows my mind that there's still a large faction of people that don't. Like, I could talk to my parents or people, and what? No.
Why do you believe that there are people that believe that?
Because I know them. Because when you talk,
but it's only because they haven't done the research. They're comfortable in.
This is exactly
what they're their lives.
They're not hungry.
Why should they go out? And look for anything to get fuck up what's going on.
I think that's
pick 5 conspiracies, right? JFK is going to be in the top 3 guaranteed anytime.
Titanic.
And when I say like, let's take it down. Let's say it's only 10% or 20% of the people that even believe in the mainstream story. That's still, considering that it's such an obvious problem. And forget all the other fringe things. So when I look at that, I go, man, my hope in humanity is kind of fucked. When I go, look, guys, here's what they say. Here's the evidence. How can you believe what they say when everything is contradictory and you still do? Oh, man. I don't know what that means, but it's not good.
I guess if you grow up with the radio, then you grow up with the first versions of television. You grow up with that. You're ingrained with these. Those are the old garb. Like
it's comfortably numb.
Yeah, it's the okay. Like you were just saying about this guy, Susan. Like according to a book that this guy wrote about him, 75% of Americans believe that there was a conspiracy to kill Kennedy, of that story or whatever. And then, so
James,
right there, there's your other 30%.
News right now. News facts.
He is news facts.
Where's Cliff Wall? We need a jingle.
Haha. Yeah. But yeah, so like, just like you're saying, there's the other 30% that like those are the ones that are just like NCPs. Like they're never gonna give up. Like,
and I guarantee you, they're all people that are 70 and above.
Oh yeah,
they're our parents. Jerry and I's parents' ages. They're 70 and above.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
And they're never going to believe it.
I talked
or uninformed people.
Father-in-law about it.
I think once you hit a certain age, you lock down.
You don't care. My parents told me they don't give a shit anymore. They're like, we're out of here.
My dad said that too. He's like, I don't want.
Let me jump in and just contradict slightly. I have been very shocked lately to discover some of my listeners and loyal, viewers and listeners and contributors to my show are ranging literally all the way up to, let's see, I think 72 and 74.
That's me and Jerry. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome.
Oh, but it's still small.
My mom is awake at 69.
Wow.
How awake is she though?
I've got people in their 60s, but I've got 72 and 76.
That are awake. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, that are fans. Fans of my freaking conspiracy show.
Maybe were they around something that happened like that, and they were like,
or did they have? Did they lose? Did they have to file bankruptcy and lose everything? Like
there you go. Yeah.
Because that's generally what I find when people have just lost everything. Then they're like, I was fucked over. Then they realize what the shit's about.
Mm-hmm.
Until that happens, people are comfortable.
I just had
they generally don't look into stuff
about people. Okay, so you're talking about the 7-year-old. They invested all this money into the stock market. They did all this shit,
and then they lost it all. Yep.
What was that? Who did that?
No. Just like in the set, like
a lot of people,
average 70-year-old growing up through the system, putting money into the system.
They're filthy rich if they kept it up.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. When they lost everything, so many people have lost everything.
In 2008, you mean?
People that kept everything.
Yeah.
Well, like in 2008,
in other words, you worked for the same company for 40 years and you got the same stock market, the 401k. You kept it there.
Let me give you another angle here. My dad had his own business for 25 or 28 years. I forget how long. Sold it in 2006 or 7 for I want to say $5 million.
Just in time.
And he took half in stock, some in cash, and then some on a note. Right? When the crash happened, that company went bankrupt, and he lost all the stuff that he didn't get in cash. So this business that he built for 20 whatever years, that has now been parted out to different companies, different vendors, whatever. But he still reads the New York Times every day and watches CNN and thinks it's all real.
Like we were just saying, I think that's just ingrained. That's what you do at the end of the night.
If he had lost it all, Jer, I guarantee you he would be like you.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Maybe.
There's something up.
I swear he would.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just giving you
I believe he would. Yeah.
You know him.
Yep. And
easily triggered.
So the old guard, they definitely don't want to know. They don't care.
Oh, my parents don't want to know.
Yeah.
I have told them. I mean, oh my God, we were like in an hour argument. And my mom finally said, "Well, they've been spraying us for years, Suzanne." Well, fuck. Why were you arguing with me that they're not spraying? Why were you telling me for a fucking hour that they weren't?
Yeah.
And then, oh well, they've been spraying us for years. What you? What? I broke you?
Yeah.
What?
Here's what's crazy. They spray our crops. They spray the mosquitoes. Why the fuck wouldn't they spray us?
They are spraying us, yes.
We're already doing it with the kerosene that we dump when the airplanes land. We're already doing it with the exhaust in the air. Why not just add an additive?
They need a way to get rid of the coal ash.
Yeah, it's all the nuclear stuff. They're getting rid of the coal
gas flying.
And they do, yes. If they have to get rid of gas.
When I said kerosene, that's because.
By the way,
that jet fuel.
Anyone looking to buy?
Land. I live near airports, and you watch them land. They dump sometimes hundreds of gallons because
they do.
Because the airplanes aren't designed. The wings will break if they have too much weight, but the FAA requires it. Every fucking house that I work with that's near an airport of jets, you get grease, like petroleum.
Oh, it's that black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grease. Yes, I've heard about that.
That's in your lungs. It's on your plants. It's in your soil. It's in your food, your eyes. Everything.
Some of what people call chemtrails are actually additives, fuel additives that are mandated by the FAA, like an anti-static treatment that's made of barium, for instance. Every plane has to have that, and every plane is spitting that shit out. Anyway, I just want to say, wait.
It tastes good.
Anyone who wants to get a Blue Yeti microphone, they're on sale today on Amazon for $89.
Wow, that's a fucking good deal.
It is a good deal. That's why I wanted to mention it. There's Cliff Wall. That's not Cliff. Glitch, what's up, dude?
Where's Cliff Wall?
What I was going to say is, if you just
Nish here?
No, Glitch Tech. It's
Glitch.
Angel. I said it right this time.
We can say however, it doesn't matter.
Glitch Tech.
What is up, dude?
How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I'm just cruising eBay, and I found a good deal, and I'm happy.
Nice.
I'm cruising Amazon
Cruising
right
eBay.
Now. I'd be playing WoW if I was in Windows. But
isn't there Cyber Monday? Is Cyber Monday supposed to be better?
Yeah, but no, Amazon started.
You gotta wait 15 minutes.
It's like the whole weekend now.
I
think 15 minutes.
I think it's a season. I think it's a season.
I just can't wait to hear all the great satanic Black Friday stories that are going to come.
What were we talking about? How Black Friday is going to get banned from like BLM or something? That shit's coming, dude.
Totally.
I gotta be Black Friday, man.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh, come on, man. Let's bring back Nigger Tuesday.
Dude.
Nazi Wednesday?
That it's called Black Friday for a reason. Because whatever.
Yeah, but
come in and break shit and steal it. Yeah, fuck it, man. Oh, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, I don't know what you could name it. It's gonna be something PC. Like
I don't even know how it got the name Black Friday. James, that'd be good research.
I do know. It's easy because it's going into the black. You're either in the red or in the black. So in Black
That's
Friday,
right.
you can bring the company back into the black.
Right.
And money during that one day.
Oh, that's the reason why they did that, because of people not
that's what
shopping.
the white man wants you to think, man.
No, I just thought of this. This is interesting. So, like, we're in this debt-based society for which possibly we are collateral of whatever.
That's right.
I don't know if that's true, but whatever. So
it is.
And in accounting, in ledger accounting, which I believe is the accounting used by the UCC, which governs all this, the black means positive and red means negative, which is inverted of death and life. If you think about it, if you're in the red, your blood's pumping, you're alive. If you're black, you're dead, right? And one is credit and one is
man.
One's
black,
credit.
you're dead.
Yeah, if you got a black toe, you got a problem. Just ask.
Never
the dude,
cross those on your car battery.
Ask the dude from
fuck it all up.
Alice in Chains about black arms. Anyway.
Oh shit.
About gangrene.
Yeah. Lane Staley. Holy.
Yeah,
shit.
Lane Staley. Thank you. Or who was he? Bennington.
Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park.
Did you see that? That they had the same tattoos.
Was he a fucking hero? He probably was a hero.
No. Somebody said that Lane Stanley died and became Chester Bennington.
Oh, it's like a. Well, I know they were boys. A lot of them guys were like, and what's his name? From Soundgarden.
Yeah, Chris
Cornell. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, that's fine. Yetis, $89.
Good
deal.
deal.
Aaron left. Bye, Aaron.
Yeah, can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, and it's getting late for me. So, love you guys. I'm going to step out.
We'll see you.
Right, thanks for coming by. Take care.
Nice saying hi.
Be good, everybody.
Later.
If you can't be good, name it after me.
You gotta go take a Jerry.
Ooh, this is cool. A Kutek 11-inch rotating cake icing thing.
A rotating cake.
A cake thing you can rotate it nice if you are a cake icing enthusiast.
Oh
man, that's what I've always wanted.
Well,
so like a lazy Susan.
Actually, do
Lazy
want one.
Susan, yeah. But it's all tech driven, dude.
Well,
you need an app for that.
It comes. No, it's not. It's plastic, but it comes with icing knives, flat knives.
You need an app for that.
It's $12, dude. It's a good deal.
That's a pretty good deal. I don't even know what I want.
I invented the lazy Susan.
I want to get a new mic,
You are
but
the original lazy.
Hey, James, I'm going to tell you something you should add to your list. It's on my shopping list for Amazon for Christmas.
Yeah.
Look up Dice Tower.
Dice Tower?
Dice Tower.
All right, man. I'll look
looking it up right now.
I'm eyeing them. I probably spent 3 hours right now in research on trying to figure out which one I want to put on a 3D one that I've picked
Which
out.
one are we gonna? Which one are we doing?
Dice Tower.
Oh, I can't show
I don't
everyone.
know. It was on.
What is this
That.
shit?
It's, let me find out. I've got it in my Amazon account.
What the fuck is
Share
this?
it somehow. Yeah, I'll share it over here in a minute.
This is sick. This is sick. This is awesome. That's great, dude. I looked up I'm like, why the fuck I get my book yet, and it like never went through. I have no receipts, no nothing. I hit all the buttons to buy the motherfucker, but I don't have my book. I'm like, I guess I thought I bought it, but I didn't. So now I'm bumming, man.
What? Why can't you just roll dice?
I don't know, but I like it.
Because I don't trust that the AI is not going to be fucking with my game, man.
I love this.
Just tell it to be nice to you.
Thanks, man.
You got to blow on them and shit, like Vegas
Oh,
style.
look at this one. It's magnetic.
Dude, these are sweet. I like the little towers and shit. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
That is awesome.
Ah,
Those are sick.
it's actually working.
It makes you roll crits more.
It is working. Look at that.
Yeah.
Cool.
We need to get failed one of these. I ain't buying his rolls, dude. I'll always say that just to fuck with him. And everything I roll is just a 30.
Oh, Jesus, gotta try. Oh, that is sad.
Oh, you can put your names on it? Who's playing or something? What is
Dry
it?
erase marker.
I love it.
All right, those are dice towers.
Damn, I can't find. Okay, I gotta look it up again.
That's pretty cool, man.
Look it up again.
Oh, Adam, did you see that pic I posted today in the chat when I drove by? I don't know.
Apparently not.
No, the float spa.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
By the way, that is in the banks.
No way.
As soon as I can afford it, it's going your way. So
no pressure.
Dude, wait, hold on. I've got a post-it note written
There
here
you
for me to, so it's coming, man. I'm
No,
not
man.
gonna
I just
forget.
happened to. I was at Home Depot and and I look over. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the same fucking place because I saw this this weird like 3-wheeled like golf cart fucking thing, and I turned around. I'm like, oh, float tanks place. So I took a picture of it, but yeah, there. Same one I've been talking about. The white pods, man. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Do they have a new name other than sensory deprivation chambers?
I don't water coffin. I don't know.
No, I mean, what's the name of that place? Is it a chain?
Yeah, it is the chain for sure. It's
You don't remember?
I can find it in 2 seconds.
Is it float?
Yeah, it's just it's I'll tell you in 1 second.
I just
if you just type in float spot, it's the first fucking thing that comes
There's one's
up.
called Flow 2S. FLO 2 number 2S.
It's called True Rest. Yeah. It's called True Rest float spots. And they're a huge chain company.
James, you need to buy a franchise.
Oh,
we all need to pitch in for you.
I don't need to buy it. It's right there.
No, we need to pitch in.
Have your own.
We can have our own. We can make our own thing. Yeah.
Who's going to clean that thing every day? Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just catch a private plane out to the Dead Sea, and
I heard some trippy shit can go down if you're out there. Man. There's people that still live there, dude. Did you know that? Like out in that Dead Sea area or whatever. Or not the Dead Sea, but in California or Mojave, right? What's that one out there that used to be like
the Salton Sea? The Salton Sea?
No, like is that in California or is it?
No, so I'm talking about the Dead Sea, which is
that's over in the Mediterranean,
out in the Middle East, which has a super high salt content. But then there's that weird spot outside of LA called the Salton Sea.
Yes,
that's a whole trippy thing to look into if you ever.
I've saw a few things on it before, and I think some weird shit goes down there. I think at one time it was like their own little lush paradise, but then the water just went away.
These guys get $80 to float once for an hour.
No, you can do.
They have a club.
You can do a first time for
$59.
$60. Yeah, $59. Yeah.
So I'm looking at their website, but that's pricey.
Oh fuck yeah, it is, dude. Yeah, you can get a pass, like a monthly pass.
Yeah, and you get 4 a month.
How much is it to buy one, like Joe Rogan?
I'm gonna look at it. It can't be that much. It's just
I would sleep in that bitch every night, dude. That'd be awesome.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it'd be good for like lucid dreaming, and
it'd be good for tripping.
I
would do it only if I could spoon with Michael Jackson's corpse.
Yes.
then I'd fork over $59.
Corpse, he's not dead. What are you talking about?
Time traveled. He's in Egypt.
Come on.
You can lease it.
He's over at the Black Sea, having a time of his life.
There is that. Yes.
There aren't any in Atlanta.
I'm hip. I know about that.
There aren't any in Atlanta.
Leasing options start at $500.
He died on my birthday, and so did Farrah Fawcett, and I really hold that against them.
That's on your. I remember being on vacation.
So mad at that.
Remember, both on my birthday that day. I was like, "What the fuck?" 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening.
That's right.
Yeah, June 25th.
Yeah, it was summer, June. Yeah,
June 25th. Yep, on my birthday.
How about
So I have a pretty sweet birthday. April 19th, Oklahoma City. Let's see, what else? Lexington and Concord. First shots fired of the revolution.
Geez.
Waco. I usually have the whole laundry list up and ready, but
do you know about the Battle of Alamance in 1771?
1770, no, but I'm going to write it down.
1771, the Battle of Alamance was in North Carolina, and it was the Regulators. These people called the Regulators.
Nice.
And they were fighting the tyranny of. So they had this sheriff. So the sheriff and the judges and all that. The sheriff would come out and impose the taxes, and the judges, if they had to go to court or whatever, the judges would uphold whatever the sheriff said. and they wouldn't. So these people, so nobody had any say other than the government, and it was the crown that all these things allegedly came through. So these people were fucking pissed. These were all farmers. Most of them, a lot of them were Quakers.
None of them inbred.
Who didn't believe in violence. No, there was probably inbreeding. You know, I know that from my family. But anyway, so so that was in let's see, the War of the Regulators was, it was actually, so I believe it was the first start of the Revolutionary War, and that was in 1771.
What did they regulate?
Well,
oh, that's the war.
So
that's
they were
the War of the Regulation.
The War of the right. They were fighting against the regulations. So a bunch of them went to like Governor Tyrone and and this was all in North Carolina, and they went to the governor's office or whatever, the court, and they went to let's see, it was
6 of them were hung.
Right. It was Governor Tyrell, and then there was
Tyron.
Tryon. Tryon. Oh, that's right, Tryon. And then there was a guy. His name started with the F. He was like I don't know. He was anyway. They tore like they like tore apart his house and burnt it and stuff, and they were just tired of having no voice.
There was a general.
They had no
Hugh
voice.
Waddle. No, Herman Husband is the guy's name.
Herman Husband is a relative of
These
mine.
aren't real names.
Herman Husband went by his name was Herman Husband, but after the War of the Regulators, he went by the name he went by was oh my God, what was it? Death something.
Death
oh my.
No, that's my name.
No, it was
okay. Sorry.
Death becomes him.
There's no mention of death with his name.
No, there is.
All right.
I'll
find it.
No, I'll find it. It's in on my stuff.
Tuscape Death?
Twoscape Death, yes. Twoscape Death was, and he fucking ran. The dude. So he got all these guys together. He printed all these pamphlets up. You know, let's the government's totally fucking us, whatever. You know, all the stuff that they printed up. And then when they're on the battlefield, he was the first to run.
Well, then,
and he ran up to Virginia to his father-in-law's house.
What was he then a provocateur?
He was a total provocateur.
He was a pamphleteer.
Right.
And he probably was part of the government, which I just now realized. Thank you very much.
CIA.
Yep.
CIA. Time travel.
Have you all taken a look at this video? I guess it's been out for a while, but it's called Black FBI Agent Spy Informant. It talks about what his role was in terms of being pulled into the FBI as an agent, as an informant to infiltrate various like Black Panther, Black rights movement stuff. So just one guy talking about his story, but then from that you can extrapolate, how pervasive that whole operation was. You can talk about it being in terms of COINTELPRO, but it seems like a pretty honest testimony to what he went through and how the whole thing works. Now, with these kind of things, you gotta always have your antenna up and see where is this guy telling the truth? Where is he bullshitting? Where does he know that he's bullshitting? Where doesn't he know that he's bullshitting? My radar says he's telling mostly the truth. It's worth a look.
Who are we talking about? I forgot already.
Oh, I can say I'll post the link. It's
Some
called
black dude.
Not Herman Husband, right? Oh, the black FBI guy. Okay, right. I remember. Sorry.
The black FBI guy.
Yeah. I'll yeah. Sorry to.
No, I was.
Does he have a name or just some anonymous black guy?
No, he has no name. And
I went to the feds on a black guy with no name.
I just made him up. And watch
this is a okay.
I'm gonna make
an
up
allegory.
This YouTube video as well.
I'll find it.
No, I'm being
a black guy.
Oh, shit. Jerry, you might be in a dick.
In a little coat.
No, did you make it up or is there really a video?
No, there's really
no. I think I remember seeing it. I found it.
Okay.
I got it.
Because Jerry was looking it up.
I got it right here. Oh, it's long. No one's gonna watch this. It's too long.
That's what she said.
If I post a video that's over like 45 minutes, Jerry's like, nobody has time for that. So yeah, why the fuck are you posting that?
I know. But wait. I am totally kidding when I say that. I love long ass videos. Like 3-hour videos. I live for those. Make your videos long, people.
You know what? I love those as long as they're just talking and they're not showing stuff because I like to listen when I'm doing other things like researching and
yes.
I just want to hear people talk. I don't want them to like.
I don't want to have to read and
post fucking. I know, and I hate when you have to read. I'm like, why are you posting a video that you have to read?
There's this guy I love. He's
fucking make a book.
His channel's called The Black Child.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No. Yeah, The Black Child.
Yeah, I love his stuff, but you really have to read it.
I do too.
You have to read it.
You do. It's a pain in the ass.
There's audible and there's visual. You know, I mean,
I can have YouTube read it to me, but that's not.
You have a subscription to Visual, man.
There's one audible guy or one guy's voice I could. That Damon T. Barry dude, that guy's got some pipes. He does the Knowledge of Forever Time series. Like, it's a whole. If you look him up on YouTube, but to hear
is that like 8?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
He did the 8 now.
Yes,
he got all fucking his plate, dude. If you look that up right now, he just dropped a video because he got sabotaged twice making that last video.
I was wondering if he did.
Yeah. And he put a fucking video out. If you look it up now, and because like of all the tech in people's houses and stuff, but he put an old school like recorder on a shelf in his house, and he caught fucking audio and everything of like people fucking coming into his house. I mean, it's hearsay.
Seriously?
But like, he caught. Yeah, definitely. You can hear people rummaging through his office and shit.
Oh,
it's fucked up, dude. Yeah.
Wow.
Why is it being targeted?
Wait, who is this?
Damon T. Barry.
He does the whole series of, like, where are we from?
Yeah, he talks about the sun being a Stargate and all that shit.
Okay,
yeah.
This isn't the guy who's like perennially like the victim of government gang stalking.
No.
Chemicals that make him lose his control's will.
No, he's just a good researcher.
Okay.
He's a good,
and he's done this whole.
He did a whole series on just like where we came from, where we're going, like, and then a whole thing on
really interesting
stargates and wormholes and how
my new portal.
He's done really well too.
Yeah,
Can you say and spell the name for me?
Damon, as in like DAMAN
MON
Damon Barry.
Okay.
BERY.
And if his series is called The Knowledge of Forever Time.
Yep.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have, Jer.
Isn't that Jason Quitt stuff?
No,
it's his own shit, man.
It's his own stuff.
He's been on like Fade to Black and all that stuff.
Does he have a YouTube channel called the same thing?
Yep. No, he has a YouTube channel.
I'm looking something up. I'm sorry.
No. Okay. Damon T. Barry, The Knowledge of Forever Time.
I think a lot of people have had him on.
It's like an 8-part episode. I should try to contact. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, you should get him on your show,
I'm a
James.
huge fan of his, just like
Me
Walt Thornhill.
too.
And guess who came on? Walt Thornhill. I'm like, oh shit. But anyway, yeah, Damon T. Barry is a great not researcher, and I was just saying audibly, like when we were talking about watching and listening, like visually, the production done on his videos
Critical alert from
they're amazing.
Your computer
and
has
like,
alerted
and
us that it is
audibly,
infected
And
with the
audibly
virus
too.
spyware.
He really does a great job.
Yeah, he does.
And it's all free.
It's all free except
all
the last
free.
one. The last one, the 8, was put out on Amazon. Amazon Prime.
You know what? They're all on Amazon.
Yeah, but this one you had to pay for. But now he's going to be dropping them all in.
And I think that's what he did.
YouTube Red. They're going to be all in YouTube Red.
Oh, okay. I think he did that just to save it.
Yeah, he had to go to a different route because of the situation with the last video. Yeah, like of it getting broken into his house and completely wiped twice. So he had to redo it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to say yes.
Yeah. And
all right, so
yeah.
So
Anyway,
have any of you guys ever heard of obscure feller by the name of Philip K. Dick?
Yes.
Yeah. Philip K. Dick.
Of course.
Have we not heard of him?
No, never. No interest in that. No.
We've covered
we've all heard of Philip K. Dick.
We've been over and over.
Jerry would suck his dick if he was still here.
You would.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'd let him suck my dick.
Yeah, there you go.
The reason I bring him up is because that idea of like being, broken into, the house broken into, being a targeted individual, being messed with. Right. I think he's like the grandfather.
Was he messed with?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. He lived in Berkeley. He lived in Berkeley for a year.
At least according to his account. I mean, I always like these guys have a dense story, right? Like, okay, there's the person who lives a shit life, and then they have a little spark, and then nothing after that, and you're gonna pay attention to that. Philip K. Dick for me is like his entire life was a fireworks show, at least the way I understand it. and he has the 100 pieces of literature to back it up with. If you never know,
right? But I think more importantly, if we look at the impact he's made on the collective, he was of the opinion that he was getting glimpses of other alternate realities, and those are the stories he wrote. I think his most important work to me is Valis right now, because that ties into a lot of what I think we're seeing and what some of the messages he got. If you read Valis and read this, there's 3 books in that, and there's also Radio Free Album with has some crossover in it.
Yep.
There's interesting information in there that may be relevant.
And my point that I would want to throw out there is this idea of okay, so this guy was saying all the things that we are, to as far as I can see, passionate
totally.
and waking up to. He was saying this stuff 50 years ago, and so if you do actually end up finding somebody that was hip 50 years ago, well then motherfucking I think that's a guy that's worth paying attention to, right? Because that to some degree that message was somewhat purer, more raw than
it was looked at as pure science fiction. Not even possible.
It sure was.
And that's interesting in and of itself. Has the writing of those books planted that idea, which has now become? Did he bring a possibility into reality by writing about it? Oh, he just left.
I wonder that when I look
think
at
about that all the
He
time.
just left. Can't keep track of everyone.
I know.
Who left?
I don't know.
I don't.
Not me.
I got booted by Valis, and
Killing
then
it,
Valis let me
sleeping.
back in.
You looked like you were. Maybe that's what happened. Oh, you could just rearrange. That's what.
Bear isn't here.
No, James popped into where.
Oh, I sent a message.
Bardaman
I
was
clicked the
on
button.
my the gallery shifted around. It's okay. Anyway, yeah,
I'm not tripping.
You didn't do anything. So the guy I was trying to think of the name of, I found him finally. It's Matthew Pauly. Back to when I thought you were talking about targeted individuals and gang stalking.
Oh, okay.
But this guy's got a story about being MK Ultra victim and how he's continually harassed. And he's like he feels he's a test subject for new techniques. So they
He's not that scientist from Canada, is he?
No, I don't think he's a scientist.
Mm.
But
Damon's just a research. Damon, you know,
No, I know
he's just a researcher and a writer and stuff. But like, not he wasn't like an MK's Vic, you know, that kind of not that in depth. But I think what it was he was taking a lot of like biblical stories, a lot of these ancient Egyptian like
I think
all that kind of shit.
I think I was subscribed to him for a while and stopped and unsubbed.
You probably were
because he had so much Bible stuff in.
There was a lot of it.
There's a lot of Bible stuff, but he doesn't go one way or the other. He just presents the facts. Not the facts, but he presents what's out there.
Right, and that's why I think like he was getting.
Because it sounded like he was too Bible-y.
Right, and then he was then he had a lot. Then I think what he was pulling and discovering, like by making this stuff and putting it out there. Whatever, someone wasn't jive with it, dude, and like, and he started getting messed with in his last video. But just because
did he talk about it in the last video,
he doesn't fully talk about. He talks about it. I heard about it because he was on a show again, and he talked about the whole situation. It might have even been Fade to Black, like the third time he was on there or something. Because over the 5 years, I've heard him like twice, I think, on it. And then I think he was on one last time, like a couple months ago, and that's why I knew he did the 8, and he finally finished it, and he told the whole story of what fucking happened, and then so I was like, "Oh fuck, I'll go and support him." So I went and rented the movie or whatever, and not on Amazon because I had Amazon free for a month or whatever. But like, it was right when I bought all my equipment, and
okay,
so I had Amazon Prime or what. Anyway, so. Yeah, I heard about all that. And then just recently, like 2 weeks ago, he released that footage, or actually it's an audio thing with him just narrating, but not even talking. Because I think audibly now, like through algorithms and shit, like your shit will get pulled, you know, like on YouTube. So like he kind of typed it all in there and explained what was going on. I think he talked for like a very little bit right in the beginning, and then he just played the whole like the scene of it all, of what went down. And you can hear people like shit coming through his house. You can hear his alarm going off, and then it gets shut off. Yeah, like that.
Wow.
So, I mean, it is hearsay, you know. Like, I mean, why?
Yeah,
go through all the trouble
come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I would tend to believe it.
Yeah, because what he was onto is pretty amazing stuff, and
it is, and 99% of the people won't believe it.
Yeah, and just how
but there's a little 1% that will be like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, it's
pretty.
Where
do I send my money?
It's not even about money. It's
not about money. That's a good thing. That's what I liked about it.
Paint a tiny different picture on things. Like,
and there is a lot of Bible stuff, but it's not. It's just him telling you what it says, and it's not him. Like, I don't really feel like he's trying to make you believe.
Not at all. No, it's not. you have to go back that far because that's how far back that book was written and what they were interpreting at the time in the book. And then you go even further back to Egyptian times and like all this stuff and what it was.
Oh, there's times way before that.
It goes way back, man. Yeah, it goes way
back. He didn't even go back. I mean, we have no knowledge really of what went on before that, but I just think that there's been so many cycles of our civilization.
Yeah. Totally.
You know, that and I think we just keep running into the same problem. Like,
right.
We get complacent, let these fucktards run our lives,
well,
and then they blow it all up.
That's what he says. At a certain point in time, these beings, this race of fucking beings come and just fucking wipe it all out. And
and I really believe that's what happens.
But though, is it a race? Or is it an archetypal aspect of?
It's an archetypal aspect.
They're not little green men.
It's not a particular. It's not like the fucking reptilians.
No,
you know, underground running the planet.
Yeah. Basically,
they're
like
underground in our mind, running the planet.
Right.
Hey.
So basically, anything like sphere related, like if you saw like the I have what is it, Ra or whatever,
I have Horus.
Yeah, well, the circle, everything's engulfed in this thing, and that has a lot, like because they were so looking at the skies, so their interpretation of that
was gods,
the gods, and the swallowing of the sun, which is
Ragnarok.
Basically everywhere, and that was interpreting like that the sun is a gateway to Valhalla. Whatever the fuck
they interpreted the sun as being where you came from and where you went to when you died.
That's the story of the monad, or
of course it's the story of a lot of civilizations.
Right. It's you could even say it's the basis of Christianity, which is an amalgam.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I got one. It's funny. It's fun. Okay, so I sent this one over to Jerry. You didn't respond, but I ain't mad at you because I know you're busy. But
sent it to me where?
on one of your videos, you're filming the moon, right? So anyway, let me get to the thing, which is. Everybody's talking about, and the model works the way that we've been taught, right? Is this idea of the sun is this huge thing, the Earth is this like middle-sized thing, the moon is this smaller thing, right? And the moon goes around the Earth, and
like the wheels on the bus,
the sun, right? But then
it's
we're
not like that, really.
Say again?
It's not like that. That's not accurate. It's actually a big vortex.
That's what I'm thinking. Is whatever it is, it's the way that it's described to me is not satisfying me, right? So I keep saying, what, I doubt that, and I keep looking at new look at it, and I came up with one that I think is a little wacky, it's a little cranky, but it's not dumb. Okay, and maybe it is dumb, but okay. So we assume that the sun is this thing that's radiating light, and therefore it's radiating light, and the moon would be receiving this light and reflecting it. And therefore we have, based on the position of the sun relative to the Earth, we're going to get these phases of the moon. Yeah. And I thought, okay, let's just look at that. Let's invert that. Let's reverse it. What if the moon is like a camera? Not like a camera, like a projector of a movie. What if what
we see is the movie, you mean?
Say again?
What if what we see is the projection, not the object?
Sort of. What if this is sort of based on that idea of, if the moon is an artificial satellite set into orbit around the Earth, whatever the Earth is, whether it's flat, spherical, I'm working on a thing which describes it as a hypersphere.
Yeah,
I think it's really an old woman with boobs.
It's a hypercube.
I think it's like the old Modwist. What is that lady called?
The Venus of Willendorf?
I think whatever it is, it's the shadow of a higher something, a higher energy.
Yeah, I really believe that that's what it is.
We are like the shadow of an eighth dimensional thing.
Yeah. So a big part of this is this idea of all these things that we've been told about a three-dimensional reality, and that's the way it has to be because that's the way science tells it. And we did all these experiments, and they came out, telling us that it's like this.
10,000 years ago they did this shit and they just still believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Aristophanes.
That's kind of, okay. So here's my like sort of novel, weirdo interpretation of it. What if the moon is actually like a projector and it's projecting the sun? So when we're looking at the moon, no matter what phase it's in, it's as if it was a sphere projecting. Or if there's a body out there that is the sun, what it's doing is it's sending something out there and activating the sun.
Or the sun's activating the moon.
Like
some kind
the version that Damon, I keep coming back to this because it's like synchro or not, whatever. It's triggering.
Yeah, synchro. Yeah, if it's doing it for you, then that's why I'm here.
The way he explains what the sun is. Okay, we know black holes at least right now don't exist. He says the sun is the other end of a black hole.
The white hole,
Yeah.
That just makes sense.
And nobody knows where the energy comes from.
However,
that's the thing.
Sucked into it.
Nobody knows where that energy comes from.
It would come from the black hole that's sucking all the energy in.
Yes.
However,
if you traveled through the sun, you would come out the other end, and there's the sun behind you, or whatever the
black hole.
Yeah.
But black holes are theoretical.
But all of that
guys.
is predicated on our sort of assumptions about how things work based on everything
Einstein.
that we
That's why I like that old school
worked out how things work.
Yeah, you have to look beyond Einstein.
That's the thing. That's why I think space is not what we think it is.
I get what you're
saying. It's a mathematical construct. It's a mathematical construct. There's no proof of anything other than light.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened when the story that the Native Americans said
when there's no moon?
The time before the moon.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did the moon come from? And what year was that?
What spell rendered it is a better question.
Right.
That's interesting with the whole EU thing. The whole EU, remember how we were getting pulled away from Saturn and all that, and there wasn't the moon or anything at that time. And then
no, it was Saturn.
That might not have ever even existed.
I understand.
I entertain a possibility like this that the Saturn, right, is a dead sun, and
that's what it. Yeah.
And
it was it's the old sun.
Yeah, it's the old sun.
It's
the sun that we currently have
the
is
old
the new sun. Somehow the dead sun.
The story is that Saturn was the binary pair. And was it was squelched with rings.
Yeah,
gods put rings around
Mars.
it. Yeah. Mars was the
crashed into
Earth.
the Earth and made the moon. Mars is the destroyer. It's the war god.
I thought the moon was like this battle station from the Pleiades. It's like the directors. Where all the directors for the Truman Show that is Earth are.
Well, yeah, that's allegedly like we are supposed to go to the moon when we die.
Well, no,
and they
we're
get
already
recycled.
there. We're already there in stasis, Suzanne.
Oh, I'm not in stasis in the moon. Shut up. You're just trying to trigger me.
I was.
I'm never going to the moon.
Yeah.
Fuck the moon. I love the moon. I've always
yeah.
loved the moon. This is the thing. I've always loved the moon. I've always loved the stars, and
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
the
my
sun.
favorite
And it
subject in all of
just
this.
makes
So.
me sad when I think of where the fuck did all this shit come from? And
Okay.
who told me this fucking stupid story? Because it's not true.
Can we maybe amongst us agree on one possibility, which is, I don't know about, I think I know about you, but I'm going to speak about me. When I look up at the moon, I think that motherfucker is not as far away as they say.
Oh,
it is.
no way. It's not.
It can't be.
Okay.
Jesus. You see Jerry's
It's inside the dome.
Jerry's videos of the moon? Jesus Christ, it looks like you fucking fly there in 2 hours.
It's inside the dome. It's inside whatever construct we're in. It's not on the outside.
Exactly.
And that, and in that, I will accept the fact that maybe people went there.
Yeah.
Possibly.
It's close enough, obviously.
I mean, they said they destroyed all the stuff to get us to the moon, and
look at the stars.
but we're going to go to Mars.
I bet you.
Exactly how?
We're never going to Mars. No one's ever going to Mars.
You got it.
It's the carrot.
It's
at
so
the end of the stick.
ridiculous.
It's the future.
See, that's
It's the way to get us to keep paying.
That part is less interesting to me. What's most interesting to me is the idea that that thing up there is closer than what they say.
So is the sun.
If it's closer, then therefore it's smaller.
Yep.
And if it's smaller,
that means the sun is smaller.
Dynamics, all of the dynamics that they tell
Of course.
us around what our relationship as humans and our relationships to Earth versus and in relation to what it is and how to get there.
But haven't you ever looked at it numerology, gematria?
Yeah.
Through the gematria, it's insane.
Yeah. For me, yeah, that's very telling stuff.
It's totally telling.
I'll say this: I agree with everything you're saying.
Really good stuff, but I'm trying to boil it down to the simplest possible thing.
I got it
Just
for you right here.
back and
If
look at
there
it.
is an infection in this realm that we've talked about many times, or some kind of archontic infection, right? It is represented by the moon. The moon embodies all this nastiness and has absorbed it all. And
then
projects it too.
why is the moon associated with women and women's menstrual cycles?
I don't know.
Because women.
So does that have something to do with the infection?
Maybe.
And why we went from a patriarchy to from a matriarchy to a patriarch
Perhaps
society?
maybe women didn't believe. Maybe wait. Maybe the moon.
I thought everything.
Brought on duality.
Did we ever? Are we in a patriarchy? Did we ever?
We are in a patriarch society.
We're in a patriarchy.
Yes, we were in a matriarch society. Yes,
We don't know if
I
we were.
do believe.
You believe it?
I totally believe that.
It's a belief system.
It
I
is.
believe the sky's
There's a belief
an
system.
LED screen that lights up in the day. You know?
I do too. I totally do too.
Light bright.
Pretty
Light
much,
bright.
Pretty much.
Yep. And
And that-
Legos. Little Lego guys are flying around.
the
I'm
sun-
telling you, they look like little Lego
The
guys.
sun doesn't send out heat rays; it's all UV.
Nope,
and
it
heat
does
comes
not.
From, heat comes from the ground.
The heat does come from
That's
the
why
ground.
it's so
Heat
cold.
rises. Heat rises, right?
Yep.
That's why it's cold when you go up in a plane. If the
That's
sun
right.
were hot, it would get hotter when you go up in a plane.
Yep.
I don't want to hear this bullshit.
It
about
never
the
made sense to
atmosphere.
me.
No, it doesn't make
That
sense.
shit never made sense to me.
Yep.
I could never buy that.
I mean, it made sense when I was younger because that's what they tell you.
Right.
Brandon says that the moon
Right.
represented the mother goddess traditions.
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm
The
like,
traditions,
moon-
yes.
So
moon,
here's
there-
the other
there's
thing
no
too. The
thing
moon
of the
is
moon.
like this dead rock that doesn't. It does. The only thing that doesn't rotate, right? If everything's rotating.
Allegedly, it does rotate, but whatever.
So much more than
It
that.
does. It does
has to be
rotate.
so much more.
It's a
Wait.
belief system that's
Wait,
so much
it
more
does
than
rotate, but it always faces
A
us.
big dead rock?
Right.
No.
It always faces us.
Right, but my point is though, it's the one thing that's it's static. It's very static.
Right.
And everything
It's
else is
static.
dynamic. And out of all the dynamicism, there's only two static things: it's the sun and the moon. Sure, they wobble, right? But everything else is like moving around crazy. I don't know. It's just weird. It's like the sky's like this. Just it's a screen. It's like a ball that just turns around us, and we're inside of it. It's got lights on outside.
It's like a snow globe. It's like one of those.
It's like two
fakey
snow globes. Two snow globes stuck together.
Okay. So
it is.
So that topic for me leads me to want to explore the idea of sonoluminescence.
That's
one
theory of what the moon is.
My computer's gonna crash. I have a frozen screen just in case I drop out.
Okay, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened the other night.
Check your graphics drivers on your graphics card.
It has to be something like that because all of a sudden it's froze right now, but it did the same thing the other night, and it.
My phone does it all the time. It's something with Zoom, I think.
There it goes. See ya.
All right, dude. Take care.
It'll totally drop in a minute. Yeah.
I can't even stop your video. So.
Oh shit! Now it's all white. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Oh god! I hope your computer's not crashing.
Do you want me to kick
Oh wait, it didn't drop me. Whoa,
there you go. I stopped your video to see if it would.
Yeah, I just stopped your video.
Totally saved me, dude.
There you go.
There you go. Good job, Jer.
You saved me, bro. Wow, that was crazy. That was crazy. I'll just see.
Good job, Jer.
That's awesome. Maybe I'll just leave my video driver off right now. But
that's why I have to leave my video off.
That's what she
said.
the
key is to not overthink it.
I know.
Yeah, no, I'm not overthinking it. I was just
we've been through this for what 3 years now, Jer?
Long time.
God, it seems like more than 2 years.
We just came to this. This is where we're at. Is that what we're told is not right?
No,
that's all we can say.
We can agree on that, right?
We cannot prove anything. I filmed the moon. I filmed the sun. I could see fucking sunspots that look just as good as the NASA GOES satellite.
Yeah.
How?
And there.
How?
Yeah. So you've struck upon my passion. That's why I'm even here. That's why I even want to.
Yeah. I gave up on it. It's crazy. No,
I think those GOES satellites are bullshit.
Well, I don't think. I think all satellites are bullshit, but whatever.
Yeah, I do too. But whatever.
It is what it is.
Okay, so one thing I found somewhat convincing is the idea around the high altitude balloon.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's
they launch them from Antarctica. They're Googleoons. You can fucking see them on the goddamn aerial fucking flight radar.
I can't believe all this shit's going through balloons. It doesn't need to.
Totally going through balloons. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
They've been going through balloons for years. Why are we running out of helium? Because they've been fucking putting in balloons up in the air.
This is a really interesting thing. There's only, from what my research earlier this summer.
Where's all my helium?
Wait a minute. This is interesting. Yeah. There are only 2 companies in the United States that make helium, and their process is secret. It's proprietary.
That's right. Why do you think that is?
Because they siphon it off the top of the dome.
I think it must exist somewhere, but so where are they getting it?
I'm tying this to that. What was that guy's name? Robert Bassano.
Helium's so light, right? So it's all up there.
This guy. Well, okay. Here's the thing.
Bassano. Yes.
Wait, let me talk. If you watched any of the ISS videos, you see bubbles all the time. Right. So either they're in the pool with the green screen,
right,
or space is a liquid,
right,
or whatever part of space they're in is a liquid. And this guy was suggesting that it's a super cooled helium, like a helium-3.
Yes.
So if that's the case,
I take that very seriously.
Helium-3 can easily be deconstructed into helium-1 or 2 or whatever, to supply helium to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's their process, is they're somehow siphoning off there.
So if it's that light up there,
that's a lot of ifs in there, but I mean, it was just
weightlessness.
It's worth like taking a look at. It's for me, it's in that same category of the narrative around, if you go out too far in your boat, you're gonna fall off the edge.
It's the tale of Icarus too.
And if you go too far out into the woods, you're gonna get hit by the boogie woogie, right?
And don't suck down those helium balloons because you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Dude, I sucked in, I did a whole, being a friend, whole fucking balloon. There had to been 12 balloons. We're talking, sucking in. We're talking
99.
during
it keeps
English
going,
class.
Right?
No, it was like 12 balloons or whatever. 99. Yeah.
Keep going.
Dude, we didn't die.
Were they red?
We didn't die.
Yeah. Don't you dare eat them mushrooms or you're gonna die. Right?
Exactly.
But this is just fear programming. Come on.
It's fear programming. Exactly.
And all
Except
those
with the mushrooms thing, right? Is that you do die. You die to the ignorance of this world, right?
There you go.
So they're playing both sides of that narrative, right?
That kind of cuts down the barrier of
die. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, it cuts down that barrier. There's that fine. There's a thin membrane that separates your left and right hemisphere in your brain of what is it? Consciousness and
subconscious.
Your belief system, the belief system.
What's right? What's wrong? But that creates those connections, back and forth of like tenfold. So, like you're saying, it's wiping it, it's cleaning away those receptors. It's you're
But I think there's a certain portion of people that were born into this world that just saw through the fuckery. Like, I never believed any of this shit they told me.
Maximum fuckery.
I never had the belief. I never believed in any of this shit.
I could say
I was always questioning stuff.
And then as I was growing up,
I never did.
And one day something happened. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I can't pinpoint it. But I've been doing this now for 25 years. So
there you go.
And I'll be 40. So I did it for my young lifespan so far. Yeah, long time.
How old are you, Bart?
Who's that? Wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who's that?
That's James.
James, that's me. Yeah,
James.
Where's Grim, by the way?
I don't know. I haven't really talked to him.
I think he's asleep.
He got drunk and fell asleep, didn't
he? Was he here in the beginning?
No.
No, he has to work tomorrow.
I don't. Yeah, he's
so sorry. I'm still catching up with everybody and how the logos come in and out. And
go into in the upper right hand side of your Zoom window. There's a thing that says gallery view.
Yeah, James Cruz.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you're quickly one of my favorite guys, right? So
you should listen to his podcast.
I want you to come on, dude.
Steak,
right.
With
Grim. Yeah,
with Grim Steak.
Yep.
You're the cruise part of.
See how we did that?
Mistake.
Okay. See how we did that there?
And sometimes I'm the guest co-host.
Jerry's on all the time.
Guest host. Yep, he's on all the time.
Yeah.
Glitch Tech will give us a mad props for cruising.
And Cliff Wall does all the jingles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Props to Will.
Okay.
Glitch is back. Hey, dude.
Me and Graham started this thing. We're like 23 episodes in, so it's fairly new, man. And just by meeting you in the last few times here, dude, I definitely want you to come on. And
I'd love to come on. Thank you.
And if anything, too, just in the intros, if you listen to our show, you'll see how it goes, dude. It's a
shit show.
So
we're in the intros. We're on the intros.
It's like this, but we do like little segments. You'll see how it goes, man. It's cool.
James tries to read. James, you read so much the last.
Dude, I fucking so bad.
You read so many articles.
Yeah.
So can I just sorry?
Yeah, let's go back to talking.
Like a meet and greet thing, like Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
Suzanne.
There we are.
Are you? You're not Nish, are you?
No.
Okay.
Jerry.
No, Nish is totally.
All right. Okay.
She's got that
Nish is awesome.
She's got that.
I thought so.
Nish is
to make sure
totally sexy.
That I wasn't conflating the two of you.
Suzanne's got a sexy voice too. It's just different.
Nish is way more sexy than me.
So I got pulled into this whole world with through Aaron and Amy through Conspiracy or Not, Here We Come, and as of yesterday, I'm the new co-host with.
Oh, sweet.
So Ian has dropped out,
that's
so I'm going to be working with them. But I'm happy to work with anybody. Put out as much content, as much discussion, as much exploration. So and Jerry's been super kind to me. And then James Cruz. Mr. James Cruz. Immediately, I remember you last time where you had the hat on. I couldn't see your eyes, and I thought
it was
you were
dollar
so
bill mask.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get
not
crazy.
last time, the time before, and then I know you came on last time.
Oh, I used to wear a helmet.
Yep.
I got a.
It's the crash helmet.
Yes, I got a helmet.
And then,
helmet's on.
And then Killendall and I.
We started doing these. We all sat around with our shirts on.
I know. I remember.
Yes.
We did a shirtless hangout even. Kill is from.
There's been a couple shirtless hangouts.
If you want to talk about roots here, Killendall was a viewer of the PvP show. Of the psychic
Kill's been for a long time.
And then he got sucked into CW's
CW,
where I got sucked into, and that's how
I got sucked into. Right. Yep,
you and I met. So we all met from other people's shows that we got.
I love it.
And it was funny because we were just doing a hangout on CW's show, and Jer was on, and I was on,
Brandon too.
And I was talking about the lunar wave. Jerry was the only one that knew about the lunar wave.
I know about the lunar wave.
And I was like, dude, you're the only one. Oh my God. And I've been talking about how space was fake and got so much flack. I get so much shit. Like,
it was just from Michael, though.
It was from Michael. But Reemsa too, he gave me shit. But whatever, I don't care. That's fine.
There was a potential lunar wave this week on the 22nd. Believe it or not.
Did you catch one?
22nd?
Not yet. I have not caught one.
That's hilarious.
No, it was all cloudy those 2 nights. I couldn't. No, I did film, but it was chemtrailed. Oh, you know what I've noticed?
Last night was the first cloudless night.
There are lots of fucking chemtrails on nights when I think there's supposed to be a lunar wave.
Oh, probably.
I've been seeing those with
I saw chemtrails last night.
Yeah, moonlight chemtrails. Yeah, those are pretty crazy. Yeah.
I saw them
See,
everywhere.
I am right next to an airport. I'm right next to Oakland International Airport. So I'm looking up at the sky and I'm going, contrail, chemtrail, contrail, chemtrail.
You can tell.
I don't know.
I'm in Davis.
I can tell.
I don't know what those things are. They're not on flight radar. I'm questioning whether or not they're real.
A lot of it's jet fuel.
A lot of it's jet fuel, I'm sure. And I'm sure.
Yeah, but what's in the jet fuel, right?
It's barium, strontium, and aluminum.
Right.
Chemtrails.
Aluminum.
Chemtrails. That's right.
Okay.
Chemtrails.
I'm gonna leave it at aluminum. I'm gonna go smoke a proper cigarette. Jerry, I know you're like, hey, why don't you start vaping?
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Then,
smoke yourself to death for like a.
Yeah. I don't need you to care about me. I'm just saying.
No, you should though. It's healthier.
Yeah, it's just different, man. I've been doing it for.
It's hard. I still want to smoke once in a while, but
I think I'm in that transition period where but
it's all in your head, dude.
I'll sit there and I'll vape, and then I'm like, I just want a cigarette. It's like when I tried nicotine gum, I would sit there and chew and chew and chew. Yeah. And then go and keep it in my mouth and go have a cigarette and get extra high.
Yeah, you just have to settle for it. That's all. And
that's it.
My deal was I turned 50 and I decided I was going to get healthy.
Done.
Yeah.
And I just quit.
Yeah, man. When you're done,
50,
you're done.
You can quit.
Yeah. So that what Jeff was saying, 40, right? I just turned 41, right?
Oh, okay.
About to go 42 in April. I feel like 42 is going to be finally, maybe magical.
42,
finally.
my man, is the answer.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
There you go.
Because I haven't thought.
I have a shirt.
That's so true. I haven't thought about my age. I could care less turning 40. I mean, I got a family. I'm married. I got 2 kids.
Yep.
Like, it just doesn't. Like, I haven't thought about age since I barely thought about it when I turned 21. So I've never thought about it. I still act like I'm fucking 18.
I tell people I'm the grayest 13-year-old you'll ever want to meet.
Yeah, man. I hear you, dude. Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna keep trucking along. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go play catch?
Yes. Yeah, I totally do, man. Football, baseball, basketball. So, yeah, you got it. I did this little thing on my last show.
Yeah, you want to check out my garbage pail kid collection? And,
yeah. There you go.
Hey, you guys see my shirt?
Dude, that shirt is red.
The answer to life.
All right, I'll be right back.
Universe.
42.
What is it? 42. Everything. Oh, sync.
Everything you ought to know.
Oh my God, Synchro.
Don't panic in the back.
Is that a shirt mail, dude? Is that like a shirt mail thing, or is that a present you got one time?
It's from it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's awesome.
Okay. Oh,
It is
from
42.
Okay.
It's totally 42.
And in the background, which you can't see, it says it's quotes from the book. Don't remember your towel. Don't panic.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
no,
Yeah,
not
don't
again.
panic, dude. Fuck.
Remember your towel?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't you ever read the book?
What book?
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No, I never. Yeah.
Oh, no, I did not.
Thank you, Brandon.
All right. Hey,
I'll be right back.
are any of you all watching Dirk Gently?
No.
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 Never heard of it.
No.
I've never heard.
What is that?
You're talking about 42. You're talking about Hitchhiker's Guide. No, and you're not watching. Okay,
I'm familiar. We're all familiar with it. I think I am.
Okay,
I'm not.
Wait. I want to talk. Wait. I want to say something to Brandon. Brandon, the popcorn lung thing was it is true, and it's caused by flavorings that mimic butter, which are used to this day in microwave popcorn. And heavy consumption of microwave popcorn can cause popcorn lung, and it's also common in people who work in microwave popcorn factories. That being said, it hasn't been in any commercial e-juice for at least 2 years, and it might be in some of the cigalikes, like the fake cigarette vaporized things. But
you get like different. The mass-produced shit, it might have it like from China. That was all shit from China back then.
It's a lot of Chinese shit. But it's called diacetyl.
Dude, I would be suspect of anything from China.
The chemicals of diacetyl.
The lead in baby formula. So
anyway,
I get it without that particular. Well,
yes, on Netflix with Elijah Wood. Go ahead, Bart. Talk about Dirk Gently because Brandon wants to hear all about it. I'm good.
So Elijah Wood, right? He's the star of the new series that BBC America.
Oh yeah, you were telling us about this the other last week.
I'm writing it down right now.
Okay, in terms of Rick and Morty fans, yeah,
of course.
Okay, yep. All right. You know how that's kind of a big deal. That transcends brainwave shit, right?
Scary Terry, bitch. Oh,
yes.
Sorry, I always have to say
it. It's more, and it's bigger than a cartoon, right?
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency is the live-action version of the Rick and Morty phenomenon.
Oh God, that's got to be
okay.
Great.
So just that's all I have to say.
I'll find it.
Wait, what's it on? Is it on HBO?
BBC.
Season 1 is on Hulu. Season 2 is on AMC.
I don't do Hulu. Okay.
Okay.
You could.
It's fine. Jerry can find it, but on Plex. Jerry can find.
Yeah,
find it.
Jerry can. Yeah.
You know, where there's a will, there's a way. The whole point of it is like it's like for me, it's this 20-year echo around what happened to me when I picked up Robert Anton Wilson's Cosmic Trigger, and it sent me for the first roller coaster ride of my life. So this is the next. There's been a lot of stuff in between this and that. But this one is like I'm really connected to this one. Like everything that like I'm going through this thing where I'm trying to explain some stuff to my wife around
Yeah, I tried that and I stopped.
Around like
I leave
hey,
breadcrumbs.
sometimes you
I
don't
leave
know.
breadcrumbs too, but come on. He fucking flipped out when I told him that Hitler didn't die in the bunker and there was FBI documents proving that he moved to Argentina. He fucking flipped his shit so bad. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna tell you anything ever again.
Like for me, you tell me that and I go, yeah, probable.
Yeah, but he was he was on a fucking nuclear submarine in the Cold War. Like they were hunting, you're not hunting, but like they were playing these fucking mind games with Soviet submarines and shit and listening off the coast of Russia. And they believed in all that shit. They were sold a bill of goods and they fucking believed it.
Yep.
So he's still in that paradigm. Slowly probably getting out, but
for me it's all about like the mantra for me is Dune, and it's all we see games within games.
Exactly.
And if you don't understand the concept of I see games within games, like okay, you're pretty clever if you see games, but games within games is not.
You have to go deep. Yeah, that's for people who want to go deeper. Those are the only people that see games within games.
It's not.
It's the people that want to go deeper. It doesn't mean that people that don't go deeper are stupid by any means. They just don't choose to go deeper.
It's a crazy journey to the bottom, and there is no bottom.
There is no bottom.
So good luck.
And it takes a strong will to see games within games.
I get depressed going through this stuff, dude. Like,
but you have to have a sense of humor.
Yes,
that's why I started Cruising with Steak. Honestly, me and Grim started it because we want to just provide like a happy experience for people and everyone involved that maybe want to come and hang out and talk and like have fun. And we'll interview anyone that's. You don't even have to be a certain type of person or anything, but like, peace, love, and light, dude.
You just interviewed a rat.
Yes, Nick the Rat. Yeah. How about that, dude? Did you guys like that?
Yeah, it was great.
Nick the Rat is fucking crazy, man. So
great.
Down in the sewer.
So if you ever want to interview a weasel shark,
a
weasel shark.
I'll be there.
I don't think I've heard of
trouser
weasel shark. I think a lot of guys have a trouser snake.
All right, I'll be right back.
But dude, like I don't know. And through all that searching, man, and all this shit like that I've been into forever, I don't know. Yeah, like I kind of explained a little bit like how I came into all this stuff, but the only thing that finally like not hooked me, but like as I was trying to say, like I have to like step back and like I have to soak it in because it can get real heavy, and I don't want to be so mundane to one theory here and one theory there. No one really does in our field, you have to like, because it's such a whirlwind.
You have to keep an open mind.
Yeah, it's all connected somehow.
Because we're all like, no, this is what it is. No, this is what it is. And you have to go, okay, well, I could
it gets frustrating.
Deal with that.
Yeah, and like I said, it goes like I get these peaks and lows of it, and that's when I can get kind of mentally like just drained from it, man. And like, but that EU stuff, dude, that was the one that was the only thing, because I think I've said it a million times, like I haven't seen shit, like nothing's ever happened to me personally except other people's stories, and that's what you have to go. If something has never happened to you like that, you have to go by someone's written word, and if I'm going to go by someone's written word, I'm going to go as far fucking back as I can, and that it has to be the Bible. But there are fantastical stories that are related to what the the highest version of recorded tech at the time was maybe a brush to draw or paint or whatever, you know, like, or if you're going back to a caveman, a guy with a stick on a fucking wall, you know, like that was that time frame or that segment of time, you know. So if I go that far back, you know, and then I see things that are related that I can at least fit pictures to in my brain, because I'm visual mostly. So I need to, that's where I step way back in my virtual bubble, and I pick and choose these
allegories,
these breadcrumbs and stuff, and just like make a sandwich out of it, you know, like fucking, and try to, and then at least I can keep up with some of the conversations.
So you get a new breadcrumb.
Basically, yes, yeah, exactly. Yep. You have to keep an open mind.
Yeah, there's breadcrumbs all the time. There's new breadcrumbs always.
You might want to throw some provolone.
We're like little, we're like,
yeah, like
little fucking pigeons.
So the EU thing was a huge get for me, because it was an open sourced platform.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and like, and if you want to know about it and you want to be a part of it, you can. And like, but so that's what's cool about that. And like, to me, like,
when
as far back as you can, it makes visually makes sense. And then I'd see the Damon T. Barry, and it's roped in along with the same type of shit.
It is totally EU.
When you're saying EU, you mean
Electric Universe.
Electric Universe
yes.
series. Yeah. If you go to projectthunderbolts.info.
Yeah. I've been on that.
So you know, yeah. Well, I interviewed Wal Thornhill. He's the.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah, half of the creator.
I'm about to pee my pants, so I'll be back.
But anyway, so that's kind of like my origin into it, and at least I finally found something to the first
that made sense to you.
I found that glob of the sandwich.
The mayonnaise and the mustard.
There you go.
Or the bread.
So slowly but surely, keep an open mind. Maybe you want mayo, maybe not. Maybe you want, if I keep up, I'm gonna build a fucking meat mountain.
Have you seen where they meat mountain? I know. Oh my god, we've talked about Arby's here. Arby's had an ad here. And Steve was like, "Oh, have you seen this Arby's ad?" And I'm like, I'm thinking is meat mountain, and like that whole thing. And I'm just dying laughing. And he's like,
"Sponsored by
Arby's is."
It's so good.
I'm dying laughing.
Dude, Felix is the best, dude. That fucking jingle is the fucking best, man.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
But yeah, the art and fashion one's pretty good too.
You know what, dude? That's great. All of them are good, man. When he sits down and puts all that together, it's really good.
He's got harmonies, like background voices. Have you heard that?
Which one?
If you listen to the art and fashion segment, there's background vocals.
Yeah, you can act. There is that. I might have been the one before that he did. Where
I asked him if he had a jingle playlist.
His son is crying. You can hear him crying, and it's into the song, which is pretty.
I thought I heard a baby crying.
He does an acapella of one of them. I have to remember what it is right now.
I thought there was. I know that there's one where there's a baby crying because I heard the baby.
Yeah, because was the newest one. It was the one before, whatever the newest one before that was. I don't even remember. Oh, Share a Memory. Memory one.
Share a Memory. Yeah, that's what it is.
Now that I said
that,
there's a baby crying.
I just say that? Yeah, but his son's crying in the background. Yeah, and then it's looped into the song, and it sounds like it's supposed to be there. It's crazy. One of those audio.
It's so funny.
Like,
that reminds me of the was it the Spinners song, the roller coaster? You ever heard that song?
Yeah.
Apparently someone was killed in the studio next to it when they were recording.
Oh,
shit. Scream in the middle of the song.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's true, but it's the lore. Like roller coaster.
Holy moly.
I love that song.
Yep.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2:00. Time to end the short stream.
Yeah, man. I'm awake, but I'm like, I finished The Punisher.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. To me, it was good. You don't have to take my word on it, but as far as directing and stuff, it was great. 13 episodes, man. Yeah.
I tried to watch the Iron Fist ones. I got about maybe 4 or 5 into it.
Iron Fist was okay. Yeah.
And then I tried to watch the other one, the Defenders. Was that Defenders?
Well, they're with Luke Cage and all the other
and Iron Fist and some other some chick with her initials are the same.
Jessica Jones.
Yes, like I don't know what her deal is. She's just annoying.
She's just like super strong, man. I don't know. Yeah,
It's like this mishmash.
They modeled her after me.
I think they're canon like that one and Luke Cage for some reason, and the Punisher
last year.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with Punisher. It just seems like it's beating people up.
Yeah, but like it's deep, dude. It's what's sweet about it. I'm telling you, it's sweet. It's CIA deep shit. It's cool.
I'll check it out. But you need to check out Legion on FX when it comes back.
I've been taping them. I've watched 2 of them and it was good.
Are they back on now?
I don't know.
Oh my God, Jer. Oh fuck! I totally forgot. I found out where the Crystal Forest is.
What Crystal Forest? Oh,
that sounds.
Remember from? Oh my God! I totally took a picture of the text. It was from an old book talking about. It was from inside a cavern in the Grand Canyon. It described it perfectly. I'm like, holy fuck! This is the Crystal Forest.
What's it from, though?
It's from an old.
No, what's the reference now?
The reference now is from that series that you put on Plex.
Where they dreamed about it, right?
Right. They saw that alien thing, the different dimension thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So it's Threshold.
And
was
then,
it Threshold or
Threshold? Yep. And then the 3 people that listened to the
audio.
They listened to the audio, and they didn't. I don't think
a cave.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. Everything locked up. It was totally
Brandon.
weird.
Oh, really?
Holy shit!
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. What's up, bro?
What's going on?
No, it's
dude. Now we got to do another hour. You showed up.
No. No, I'm stopping it right now. You guys,
we can hang now.
Yeah, keep hanging.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see, chat. I think my internet went out because it said chat disconnected. Oh wait, am I still streaming? No, I'm still streaming. All right. Well, it doesn't matter. We're going goodbye. Good night, everyone.
What have I missed?
Good night, everyone.
No, we're just chatting for a minute about.
We're signing off to take the after chat going. Get the after chat. All right. Good night. Take care. See you next week. Thanks for being here for the 30th anniversary, 30th annual, or whatever. Fuck it. Later.